This is Jennifer Hale, and you're listening to the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. And, I should go.
The tangents we continue all the way to episode 518 of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. And if I run into that psychic freak, I'm tucking tail and running. I'm nuts, but I'm not that nuts. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. So glad you joined us. Let's start off like a do from the virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
This is Brittany and Bango.
This is Holly from Wisconsin.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hopefully you enjoyed our little bit of squee. And man, my quasi prediction, even though it wasn't a prediction during that squee, yeah, just a little bit in the morning. Everybody was just like, "What? WTF, Holly?" I'm like, "Yeah." New words. I know. Tell me about it.
Called that? Sorry?
Yeah. Because one of my coworkers is like, because I told him, and he's just like, "You jinxed us, didn't you?" I'm like, "I didn't mean to. I was talking as a general whole." Not just our team in general, but some other teams.
Yeah.
The exact same thing.
Meanwhile, in college football, the Hoosiers are just
Still taking names and kicking buckets?
Yeah, kicking butt and taking names. They absolutely just clobbered the Oregon Ducks in the Peach Bowl.
And it sounds like the men's Badger basketball team, who was unranked, gave the surprise awakening to, I believe it was Michigan. So sorry, little sports ball tangent, but hey,
yep. Good. So yeah, there's
it wasn't too bad of a sports week.
I would say it's kind of funny because I was at work today, and it's like, we have Martin Luther King Day off next Monday, which is also Monday night is the college football championship game, and everyone's like, "I think we need a 2-hour delay on Tuesday."
Because we're going to be
everybody's going to be up watching the football game. So people they're like, "I think we need a 2-hour delay," and people are like, "What, is there supposed to be snow next week?" They're like, "No, I use play for the college football championship." Everyone here is gonna want to watch it, not have to get up at the butt crack of dawn to go to work next day. So fair.
It's like, tell us you're not a sports fan by telling us you're not a sports fan.
Yeah, or at least how much you don't pay attention.
Yeah.
Anyway, we shall find out next Monday evening, I guess, if IU can. This one's for all the marbles. It's the big one.
And that pretty fragile trophy. Don't drop it.
Yeah. It ain't a bushel of peaches, I can tell you that.
Nope.
Or a oversized anthropomorphized Pop-Tart. See, the things you missed out on Notre Dame. Aren't you sad? No, you're not. Anyway. Anyways, we need to do the news. Not a ton, but some kind of important stuff as we are full on into award season, but we will get to that in a moment. First, I did want to touch upon a piece of 10 o'clock news.
Okay.
That's actually from several weeks before Christmas. But since we haven't had a proper show since before Christmas.
True. Right.
I thought I'd mention it. Just because one, I was a fan, Chauncey's a huge fan. Of him, but because we had also had
There's a
His good friend, his good
Yep,
friend Jacob the
yep,
Carpetbagger,
yep.
on the
I
show
know who you're
a
talking
couple years
about.
ago.
Yep.
So, especially in the Disney community, although that was not
Oh yeah.
Adam's only thing,
Right.
but here in the last, as he's figured out, how he wants to do, and as he was getting older and, wanted to, change up the way he did things and the way way he wanted to travel changed and stuff. But, if you were in the Disney fan community, especially Disney adults, that odds are you probably at least knew the name of Adam the Woo.
Hmm.
Um, but he unexpectedly passed away just a few days before Christmas.
Mhm. Yep.
At this point, his dad, who actually was a YouTuber himself ages ago,
Hmm.
um, and as from what it appears, he has been able to, has been able to get access to Adam's channel, so he's been able to post
Hmm.
where people are going to see it as opposed to on his own channel, which he never really had a huge following.
Right.
Although he's going to bring that back now, because he saw how much joy Adam was getting out of, doing that.
Hmm.
That he's kind of like, kind of picking up the torch, as it were, from his own son.
Right.
Um, but he did post an update yesterday, day before yesterday, something like that. Um, and he's been very, you know, honest with, Adam's fans,
Hmm.
as far as like, what happened. He's like, what you know is what I know at this point.
Right.
They're
Which is
waiting
not a whole
for,
lot.
yeah, they're waiting for the autopsy results, and he said that could take, weeks and weeks and weeks. And
Right.
he's like, once I know something, he's like, I will let you know.
Hmm.
Um, because Adam was only 51.
Right. And that's young. That is
Yeah,
young.
that is Young's, somebody who, had a very, like he had an active lifestyle.
Hmm.
He was out and about. He'd go someplace and he'd, walk to tour these places. So he'd be up and he'd be walking days on, he was up early. He was an early riser. He'd be up and out and going all day, every day filming stuff and then, getting it up online. And so he was, you know, it's not like he, unfortunately, like me, I sit on my butt all day. Uh, which, I really do need to get up and move a little bit more.
Or you do
um,
get up and move, but it's not the long distance that you were
yes,
expecting. It's just maybe boom, boom, 5, 6 steps. Okay, and turn around and come back.
exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. So, the fact that, this, he seemed to, from, again, we don't know the cause, but he died in his sleep. He was
Mm.
found at home in bed. Um, he climbed into bed and just, for whatever reason did not wake up.
Uh,
Um, and his friends that were there, they're the ones that found him because he was not responding to messages and they were supposed to meet up. This whole thing. You can go and see all those videos and stuff, but it was actually through Jacob the Carpetbagger is how I learned in the first place. It was Jacob's post,
okay.
the day
Uh,
that
the
it
first
happened. So
the first one I did was I follow her because she has a baby Grogu that she named, and she followed Adam, and I think they had met up, and she had posted, and that's how I found out. And then I saw Jacob the Carpetbagger's post, and I was like, oh wow, okay,
yeah,
yikes.
yeah, it was a big shock to to everybody.
Buddy, yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's sad. I never got to meet Adam. Our paths just never crossed. I know people who have, though, and everybody
Hmm.
is like he was just the nicest person, that you could ever meet. Which, is always good to hear. So, but it's it's just it's sad when you lose somebody who's especially someone who's such a positive influence in the
Yeah.
world is just it's sad. But of course our hearts go out to Adam's parents and his sister and all of his friends. Jacob, like I said, we were fortunate we've had Jacob the Carpetbagger on the show.
Yes.
And everybody in the community that that I follow as a fellow Disney fan. If I start rattling off names, I know I'm going to forget somebody and then I'll just feel bad. So I'm not going to attempt that. But yeah, but it since his dad seems to have access to his channel, hopefully that means that they can keep the channel going. That YouTube
Yeah.
won't do something rude like take everything down or something.
Right.
Because that would just be mean. In
Yes.
my
Very
humble
mean.
opinion. I'm looking at you, YouTube.
Yep.
So but yeah, there's Adam's he was at it for a very long time, so he's got anything and everything you could think of. I mean, he's been international. Disney, yes, was a big part of it. So was Universal, theme parks in general, but also your roadside attractions. He did a lot of visiting like filming locations for popular movies and that sort of thing. So if you've not checked out his stuff, certainly do so because there's a lot. There's a lot to check out. And then maybe go watch some of his friends too. Friends of friends.
Yes.
So moving on to happier stuff. We're a little behind as far as award season because we haven't done a show. So when we
Right.
get to Shalane's feedback, she's going to be referencing some of this feedback was written before some of these award ceremonies happened. So, but we do need to catch up because since since the year started, we've had the Critics' Choice Awards, which is a little bit can have a somewhat nod to show the hand a little of potentially Oscars, which are coming up very quickly. Although the Critics' Choice is film and television, but still. And right now, like as far as film is concerned, it looks like the two movies that are coming out of the gate hot are Sinners and One Battle After Another. So, which obviously Sinners starring a number of notable actors of color and directed also. And then One Battle After Another is Leonardo DiCaprio's latest film offering, which if it wins Best Picture, okay, whatever. If anybody listens to Gold Standard, they know I'm not a huge fan of Leonardo DiCaprio at all. I don't really care for him as an actor. But that's just my opinion. So, but Sinners has got like Michael B. Jordan and other folks in it. Um, so, but those are the two films, and also Hamnet maybe might be in there too. So there's those, and One Battle After Another, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. Ryan Coogler did Sinners, obviously. Yeah, not I don't think necessarily anything out of the ordinary though there, at least as far as the big awards. When you get into your supporting, you get a little you could get an off that's not from one of the films that's really taking off, like Netflix's Frankenstein, which is Guillermo del Toro's retelling of the Frankenstein movie. like Jacob Elordi won Best Supporting Actor for his role in that. So it also won costume design, which, sure. Not Wicked for Good though. Wicked for Good not really taking off like people I think thought it would. They're like, yeah, we're gonna get the second one and it's gonna complete it and it's gonna, now it's gonna get all the things, and no, it's not actually. So unless something changes, of course, the latest Avatar got visual effects. That should not surprise anybody, I think. Animated feature, watch out, Disney and everybody else, Disney, Sony, whoever. Here come the K-pop Demon Hunters, which I've not watched yet, but wink wink nudge nudge, I'm going to have to at least watch the version that got released in theaters, because we may be covering it on Gold Standard here in the near future. So brought to you by somebody that it should not surprise you is bringing us an Asian animated piece of IP. And K-pop Demon Hunters actually won Best Song too, Golden.
Nice.
Apparently Soda Pop not so much, but Golden absolutely. See, I know a little bit.
I mean, how it's been, it's not, you have to be under a rock to not know at least one of the songs.
Like, yeah, like when I was at GalaxyCon, like I saw people like dressed as like the girls, and it's like I don't know the characters' names, but I recognize, especially the one with the purple hair. Like it's a very distinctive look, so it's like I know what that is. I don't know the character's name, but I know what that's from. So, but I will know way more here sooner than later.
It's a fun movie. It is
It
a fun
is.
movie.
Yeah.
There's a rewatchability factor in it.
And I'm sure, I mean, I could probably do with some new earworms.
Oh, trust me.
Oh yeah,
There's
definitely.
earworms. Oh yes, there's earworms.
Yeah. I mean, no offense to Taylor Swift, but it might be good for a change. So yeah. The award season, it's happening. We're getting there. I mean, that's a Critics' Choice, and then we just had the Golden Globes, which also another test for where we may be headed as far as the Oscars are concerned. And in motion picture drama, Hamnet won. Motion picture musical or comedy, one battle after another. So there you go. Oh, got that again. Motion picture animated, K-pop Demon Hunters. Oh, TV wise, again, not I think a big surprise as far as drama is concerned. The Pit, it's winning everything just like it did last season. Noah Wiley once again walking away with the statues. So yeah. See, there you go. Original song, motion picture, Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters. So yep, we're starting to see a lot of the same names show up. So, but we still have a few more awards that we need to get through. We still have, I know they're not called the SAG Awards anymore. I know they changed the name, but I'm sorry. I'm keeping them. I'm still going to refer to them as the SAG. Because I know that they're now called like the acting artist or something like that. It's something that it's supposed to like make it more obvious that it's it's an it's the actors union, without having to know what the name of the union is, I
Right.
guess. So they wanted to make sure that the name of the award was something that would be recognizable, like outside of the United States and or people outside of the industry. So yeah, but yeah, we still have the SAG and the BAFTAs. Those are the four that we usually use as our our
The litmus
gauge
test.
when
Yeah.
our litmus test when it comes to making our picks. So I'm not sure exactly when those take place. I know the Oscars aren't until mid-March. Thankfully I'm on spring break then, so it doesn't matter how late it runs. It won't be a problem. Which is fine by me. But as far as when we get those, when we find out the nominations, actually we should be getting those like in the next like couple of weeks. So once we have those, then we can get those other two awards and then we can make our predictions, because yes, we are going to be having our annual, competition. Those that have been around long enough know that we pit two teams against each other. We'll have to. I think most everybody that participated last year said they're going to return. They want to play again this year. So we'll have to decide if we want to keep the teams the same or if we want to change things up. But we'll get into that when we get closer. For those that are like, what the hell are you talking about? Or you can go back and listen to one of our other post-Oscar roundups. You can do that. You could do that too. So, but yeah, there is that going on. And then speaking of movies that might get a film that might get nominated, it probably in the technical categories next year, because it's not due out until December. But even like more than a year before the movie is due out, the Russo brothers are already giving us teasers for Avengers Doomsday, and we've gotten 3 so far of various characters. Well, one of them is definitely in our universe. The other 2, maybe not. So the Russo, we've gotten 3 teasers already to kind of show us an idea of who all, because this is going to be huge. You thought Endgame was big. This is bigger. So our first teaser was Chris Evans letting us know that Steve Rogers, not Captain America, it specifically says Steve Rogers will return in Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah, and
so we don't necessarily
something.
Yeah, but it's like, is that his? Is it his with Peggy?
Right.
Is Peggy the mom, or is this a Steve from a different universe?
Right. Or is this Uncle Steve taking care of an
be that too.
duty?
Maybe he's babysitting.
Right. We do not know.
We don't know, but as far as we were concerned, Chris Evans had hung it up.
Right. Yes.
But apparently not.
You missed me?
But again, because it specifically says Steve Rogers, we don't know for sure which Steve we're getting. Is it the Steve that we have known for almost 20 years at this point? The MCU is going to be what this is 18 years old this May.
Right.
So the MCU is almost 20 years old. Which means Chauncey and I will have been together for 18 years. Come May as well. So yeah. So we don't know if it's going to be the same Steve that we've kind of known and love, or if this is a Steve from a different version of Earth. Because that's the thing with Doomsday is you cannot assume that the characters we're seeing are the ones that we knew, have known already.
Mhm.
Except for the the ones where they've explicitly
Said.
shown us. Like when we get a teaser showing the Fantastic Four, we know if you saw Fantastic Four First Steps, you know that Fantastic Four is crossing over into our universe. So because that is if you saw Thunderbolts, you know that the Fantastic Four is not from our universe. It is their universe. But some others, maybe not so much. So Thor, pretty guaranteed that that's our Thor. It's Chris Hemsworth. He's talking about how now he's a father because he adopted the girl from Love and Thunder. Presumably still played by one of Chris's kids. I'm not entirely sure. Guess it depends on how they've aged. But we could probably, based on the things he's saying, that's probably our Thor. Because our Thor is still out there. And then the X-Men. We got Charles Xavier and Magneto and Cyclops. With some fantastic voiceover work by Sir Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier. Showing him and Magneto still hanging out together, still playing chess, like the brainiacs that they are. And then we get a certain Mr. Marsters Cyclops, which if you saw the cast announcement, you know that we're getting like the OG Bryan Singer X-Men cast. Yeah.
And
at this point, Nick is going la 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 la
la la la la. Yeah. We will have to.
Sorry, Nick.
You might need to skip ahead a little bit, Nick.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, and it's just like, oh, you know, when I saw that, I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have to try to plan a X-Men original rewatch here in the near future.
I mean, we might have to. I mean, we'd already gotten that hint with the Marvels, obviously.
Right. Yes.
With Maria going to at least a universe that has at least the OG Beast, you know.
Right. Yes.
You know, our
Professor Xavier.
Yeah, and we so we could probably assume, and because they were talking about the professor, you know, Beast was talking about the professor, we could probably, it's probably safe to assume that the X-Men that we saw in this teaser are probably the same universe that Maria Rambeau's in. And that's how bringing them in will allow us to get Rambeau back. In theory. So, because we know that there was a Charles Xavier. There's been a couple Charles Xaviers throughout the years, played by Patrick Stewart, that have died.
Yes.
In some form or another. So it ain't gonna be them. You know, the one in Logan, he's gone.
Right.
Along with that Logan, at Deadpool 3 definitely showed that Logan is definitely dead. God, Deadpool.
Yeah.
But, and obviously the Charles Xavier in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, that one saw a grisly ending as well. So it's not going to be that one. So this Charles Xavier, probably the same universe that Maria Rambeau is in, would be my guess. But it's like, but there's going to be so many characters in this. I mean, they can keep giving us teasers like every couple of weeks up until like when we'll get our first trailer.
Right.
I don't know
Super Bowl?
Maybe.
I mean, that would teaser trailer.
I mean, I guess that depends on like, yeah. I mean, the Super Bowl would make sense if they weren't doing these teasers. The thing is, the Super Bowl is less than a month away.
True.
So unless they start dropping these teasers more often, we're not going to get a whole lot before we get that trailer. Unless they wait till later. So,
or unless they're waiting.
This is a December release. So,
unless they're waiting to do something during the Olympics. I mean,
possibly,
that's a couple.
that's NBC.
Right. Yeah.
which
True, and they're more
you know,
ABC, different.
we're talking
Yeah.
ABC, Disney.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I just realized when I said that. I'm spitballing this.
maybe the NBA playoffs.
That
Maybe
could
the
be.
Final Four.
Or
Maybe
yeah.
possibly.
The crystal ball and the magic 8 ball are
because ABC has
soggy.
been doing, at least over the holidays, ABC was pushing a lot of NBA basketball.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I could see them maybe by the time we get to the NBA playoffs, maybe
Right.
that might make more sense. Because I mean, 11 months is,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to do it too early, especially when they can keep giving us these little teasers.
Right.
I mean, I'm here for it.
Oh yeah.
I'm totally here for it. I'm just, apparently there's another one out there that some people have gotten a glimpse of that has Black Panther, a version of Black Panther, whoever's taken up the mantle, whether it's Shuri or it's a Black Panther from another universe. But yeah, supposedly we'll see. That's the rumblings I've been seeing on the internet, is supposedly the next teaser will be Wakanda / Black Panther related. But if and when we'll get that, TBD.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying, I'm kind of here for it. I'm kind of liking these. Just give us a character,
Yep.
It's like we know.
What I really would like to know is runtime.
Yeah. It's gonna be long.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a 3-hour movie at least.
Probably longer than Endgame, and hopefully with a planned intermission somewhere in between so we can take a bathroom break.
Yes. Definitely. I'm getting a little old. It's not that I don't want. It's not that I don't want the super long Marvel movies. Please give me everything you can. My bladder does not. My bladder that's in its 40s does not want the super long movies.
Yes, I mean, granted, yes, I'm in education, and my bladder has been trained now to do this, but I do like to give my bladder a break every now and again. So
meanwhile, they're talking about re-releasing the Lord of the Rings trilogy in the movie theaters for the anniversary, and I'm like, yeah, but are you releasing the theatrical cut or the extended cut? If it ain't the extended cut, I don't want to go.
Right, exactly.
But at least with those, I've seen those well enough. I know when I can get up and go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I'm missing.
Right. It's like, okay, yeah, this is okay to go skip out on, yes. Mm-hmm. But when it's brand new, no.
Exactly. Anyway, # first world fangirl problem.
Yes.
I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Joe and Anthony, whatever you want to do, I'm here for it. Anyway, moving on. This was I totally would have missed this if a friend of mine hadn't shared it on their Facebook page. But Humble Bundle, we've talked about them before. They sometimes do Doctor Who related bundles, which those are always awesome.
Oh yes,
it usually includes books and Big Finish audios.
Filling your library that way.
But right now they are doing a bundle, Fierce Women of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror.
I have seen that, and I am very, very tempted.
Oh, so they've teamed up with Open Road Media to offer, if you do the biggest bundle, it's 65 books. And obviously ebooks. Yes. They're not, you're not going to make an $18 donation and they're going to mail you 65 books. Right. So, but ebooks still good. You still get the book. I mean, and they're your books to keep. So,
and the list of authors that they've got is fantastic, and some of it looks like their complete the complete series of work as well, which is nice.
So there's a little bit of everything. It looks like there's stuff that's more romanticy, and then
And
stuff
some of those are even
that's
omnibuses, and
Mhm.
they're true. So it's just like that's a steal.
Yeah, there's some award winners in here.
Mm-hmm.
The nice thing about Humble Bundle is, they give you suggestions, but you could also, if you'd like, choose what you want to pay.
Mm-hmm.
And this does, this is a it has a charity aspect to it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
In this case, donations support a organization called Active Minds. And it's a nonprofit that promotes mental health for young adults.
Oh, nice. Very, very
Yep.
cool. Very, very cool.
So, but they do work at high schools and universities. So, because their target range is age 14 to 24. So, high school to early college. And as someone who is very much a mental health advocate and very much somebody who understands the stigma that comes with the struggle when you're struggling with your mental health, that's a very, very important thing.
Mm-hmm.
And even more now that I work in high school myself, you can there's you can filter like if you're like 65, I'd never read all those, so you can do 5 items, 13 items, or the entire 65. And you can get all 65 for as little as an $18 donation. So that's not bad. So
Not
for
at all.
65 ebooks, that is a
Yeah.
lot. And like Holly was saying, some of these are not just a standalone book. Some of them are, parts of series, if not there's an entire trilogy in here. It's a Nebula winner. So yeah, there's quite a bit in there. So support women writers, especially in
Mhm.
Yeah.
fiction. So that is a thing you can do. And as of this recording, this offer is going to be available for the next 18 days.
Mhm.
Plenty of time, if you're waiting for payday to come around or something. And then speaking of women in doing awesome things in fandom, I connected last year with this great lady. Her name is Annabelle Floria, and she goes to Antioch University in Seattle, and she is working on her doctorate in clinical psychology. And she is working on her, her thesis, whatever. I don't know if the words are different depending on the type of degree that you're going after. Like, with a doctorate, they're just, they're not just going to hand it to you. Like, you really got to earn it. So she is looking for participants in a study that's going to be part of her doctorate. Is she is seeking participants for a study exploring the experience of romantic feelings towards musicians encountered in the media. So essentially that parasocial relationship, it ever, got really strong, I guess, on your end. And so the eligibility, I'll give it, I'll have, I shared it on our Instagram, which gets shared out to a couple other platforms, a couple of weeks ago at the beginning of the month. And I told her I'd mention it the next time we recorded a proper episode as well. But if you're between the ages of 18 and 29, are fluent in English, have had romantic feelings for a musician, music artist, or band member within the past 3 years, and no longer currently feel romantically interested in the individual. So there's a QR code you can scan or a link that you can go to fill out the form to see if you're eligible. And then if you do qualify, then you'll do a video interview with her and be entered into a raffle to possibly win a gift card. But it's all on, it's all on the level. This is, because it is psychology. HIPAA isn't, all the confidentiality things that go with like HIPAA and everything, it's going to be part of it. So, but yeah, if you know somebody or you think you might qualify, please share. Right now, there's not necessarily a strict deadline. So she does want to start doing analysis of data from those interviews in the spring, in like April-ish. So the sooner, if you qualify, the sooner she can talk to you, the better off. But yeah, obviously she'll work with you as far as availability to do the interview and everything. So, but I'll have that shared in the show notes for people to check out. But yeah, I just happened to come across her on Blue Sky, of all places. And I was like, "Ooh, fellow fangirl. Ooh, she's like doing." I mean, her focus is very, very specific as far as like her studies into fandom, and in this case, it's not necessarily just girls. It's just fans in general. We had a nice discussion about stuff that may or may not end up in my book that I will write before the dinosaurs come back, I hope. So anyway, there's that. And we are in a new, we're not just in a new year. We're in a new month.
Yep.
Or maybe I should have said that the other way. Not only are we in a new month, we're also in a new year. But
New year, yeah.
the year really doesn't matter when it comes to book club. It only cares about the month.
Mhm.
Yep.
This month's book is A Morality Tale. We had a 3-way tie, so I just kind of drew. I'm just like, okay, we've got January, February, and March covered. January is going to be A Morality Tale. February is going to be Dracula, and then the Dracula is where the doctor meets Dracula, I believe, from what I remember reading of the blurb. And then Fear Death by Water, which is a 15th Doctor book. So when we hit March, poll will be up for April.
And in the meantime, we're still waiting for an announcement of when we're going to get the war between the land and the sea here in the United States. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No problem. We'll wait.
Mm.
It's not like we don't have other stuff to consume in the meantime.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's move on to feedback because we have a lot of feedback. Of course, most of it is from Shalane. She's been waiting patiently for us to come back.
Yes.
But in the meantime, has been sending in feedback, so it's gotten a little backed up. So,
and it's much appreciated.
Yes. So we're gonna dive into this best we can. Sorry if we missed anything, Shalane, but there was a lot. I tried to organize it. I think I got everything, so we'll see. But like I said, so because this has been backing up, she's going to reference things that have since happened. So, and also possibly spoilers for Stranger Things.
Yes.
So, before we actually get to talking about Stranger Things properly. Oh, all right. She says, Happy New Year, everyone. This is my first feedback in 2026, and we survived the holidays. I want to start with the Golden Globe announcements. I figured Wicked for Good would get nominated for some of the same categories, like Best Actress and Supporting Actress. I was a little shocked that Little Shock wasn't nominated for Best Musical, and the Avatar Fire and Ash was nominated for Best Drama. That said, Wicked for Good, Avatar Fire and Ash, and Zootopia 2 are all nominated for Best Box Office Success Fun fact, Avatar Fire and Ash was released on the same date that Titanic was released years ago. Maybe that's James Cameron's favorite date or something. I don't know. I'm also really excited that Miley Cyrus's song for Avatar Fire and Ash is nominated for Best Original Song, and now it's on the Oscars shortlist. I'm also excited that the new songs for Wicked for Good made the shortlist too. I have a feeling that Zootopia 2, Elio, and K-pop Demon Hunters might not win Best Animated Feature. I think I could go to an international animated film instead. Last year, Inside Out 2 and The Wild Robot were both successful nominated, but neither won. The award went to another animated film. I actually made a deal with myself. If a non-Disney animated movie wins a Globe or an Oscar, I'll watch it. If it doesn't, I won't. So if K-pop Demon Hunters wins, I'll watch it. If not, I won't. I think little Amelia from Ghibli Kids might win. Guess you're watching K-pop Demon Hunters, aren't you, Shalane? Also, new Sinners, Hamnet, and Frankenstein will be nominated for Best Drama, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. Wicked for Good and Avatar Fire and Ash could be nominated too. It's kind of funny that we're getting another movie about William Shakespeare, this time focusing on his wife. I used to think Shakespeare in Love was about how he met his wife, but it wasn't. It was a fictional story about him writing Romeo and Juliet at Twelfth Night. Hamnet is directed by Chloe Zhao, and she's already directed an award-winning movie, so let's see how it goes. Of course, Only Murders in the Building got nominated again. I hope they finally take a win this time. I'm also really excited for Jenna Ortega getting nominated for Wednesday. Spoiler alert, Only Murders did not win. I knew Begonia would be nominated. Honestly, I think almost any movie Emma Stone is in gets nominated, except Cruella, The Amazing Spider-Man, Easy A, and Zombieland. One big piece of news I'm still confused about is Netflix possibly buying Warner Brothers. I don't know what that means. Will there still be Warner Brothers movies in theaters? Yes, I would think so. They would keep the name. It's just they would have financial control over everything that occurs under the Warner Brothers logo and name, I think. We'll see if that actually happens. Jury's still out. She talks about some of her favorite pop culture news and 2025 favorites. My favorite pop culture news this year was the Avengers Doomsday casting announcement. Taylor Swift buying back her albums and are getting engaged to a famous football star. I still don't understand why Nick keeps avoiding the casting announcement, so I'll be patient when you girls talk about Taylor's eras like you do with Queen and the Beatles. Nick likes to know as little as possible about a movie before he goes in to see it, other than the title.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
He keeps track of like the franchises he likes, so when there's something new, like the Alien franchise, he can be on it. But otherwise, he wants to know as little as possible. That's just the way he rolls. That's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Me, I don't mind getting stuff up to a certain point.
Right. I'm of two minds. There's just like, okay, yes, I want to know a little bit, but then I don't. And then there's others like, I don't know. I don't want to know a single freaking thing. I'm going in cold.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody ruins it for me, you're off the Christmas list.
Yeah.
You're off the Christmas card list.
Yeah. See, I can't do it. I can't just like, I don't know how I could physically do that, to be honest with you. I'm just online so much that I don't think it's physically possible for me to go in completely blind on something, to be honest with you. But that's just me, because I'm an addict to social media. But that's anyway. Her favorite movies of 2025: Fantastic Four, First Steps, Thunderbolts, Zootopia 2, Wicked for Good, Elio, the live action Lilo and Stitch, Freaky Friday, live action How to Train Your Dragon, Captain America Brave New World, Snow White, obviously the live action version, Jurassic World Rebirth. Favorite songs of 2025: Fate of Ophelia by Taylor Swift. Heck yeah. End of the World, Miley Cyrus, Abracadabra, Lady Gaga, Man's Best Friend, Sabrina Carpenter, Dream is One by Miley Cyrus, Life of a Showgirl, Taylor Swift and Sabrina Carpenter. Yes. Like, I bounce between my just Swiftie playlist, which is Taylor's entire catalog, and just the Life of a Showgirl album. It just kind of depends on what mood I'm in, but just like, I can't get enough of Life of a Showgirl Not just the song, but the entire album. Just it's gotten into my brain and just will not let go. So again, K-pop Demon Hunters. At the very least, I'm free my brain. Hashtag first world problems. Favorite TV, final season of Stranger Things, most recent season of Only Murders in the Building, season 2 of Wednesday, and season 2 of Andor. Fun fact, this feedback was actually supposed to be my last feedback in 2025, but you girls took a week off in early December. Yeah. One of my favorite parts of 2025 with this podcast has been sending you links about which animation studios make which movies. Not necessarily for you to talk about it, but so you don't mix them up. I know it's kind of my job to correct you when things are wrong, like Hex being Disney Animation, not Pixar. Thank you. Somebody needs to help me keep things straight, because obviously I can't do it on my own. Changing gears a little bit, I was really sad to hear about Rob Reiner. He made some of the best movies like The Princess Bride and When Harry Met Sally. I mentioned this before. I'll be patient while you eventually talk about more of his films. Well, we did talk about Spinal Tap.
Yes, we did.
My favorite Rob Reiner movies that I've actually seen are The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, rumor has it, and The Bucket List. Have you thought about doing more of his movies, or is Princess Bride Spinal Tap enough? We shall see.
Yeah.
Speaking of directors, I think the only Garen Marshall movies you've done are The Princess Diaries. I'll be patient if you talk about Pretty Woman, Valentine's Day, and Runaway Bride someday. Well, we do have a third Princess Diaries movie coming, so.
Yes, we do.
Also, it's winter in North America, Europe, and Asia, while it's summer in Australia, parts of South America and Africa. They're in swimsuits while we're in sweaters trying to stay warm. Yes, I know.
Yes.
I have distant cousins-in-law, because it's through Chauncey's side, that are Australian. And yeah, it's quite funny. They'll send us pictures, and it's like, Merry Christmas, and they're wearing like shorts and t-shirts.
Oh, how I wish I could be
ringing
there.
in the new year at the beach in flip-flops. Meanwhile, I'm like, I need more sweaters.
Oh, goody. It's snowing again. Yeah.
Yeah, it snowed yesterday. It snowed yesterday, and today it hit almost 50. Make it make sense. That's why my sinuses are like the way they are. I cannot handle it. Anyway, back to Shalene's feedback. We're getting there. She said, I knew you girls would eventually talk about Die Hard for Christmas. Oh, me? Never. It's not like you know me or anything, Shalane. Just kidding. Love you. This is your 5th Christmas movie after Muppet Christmas Carol, The Grinch, Home Alone, and Christmas Vacation. What's next? Elf, Polar Express. No offense to Tom Hanks, but the animation. The Santa Claus, Love Actually, Jingle All the Way, Nightmare Before Christmas, White Christmas. Oh, definitely Nightmare Before Christmas is going to happen eventually.
Oh,
the question is, do we do it at Halloween or at
Christmas? And I'd be down for White Christmas.
Or somewhere in between.
I was going to say, do Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Meet in the middle.
There we go. There we go. Yep.
Possibly. Maybe. I think this is your 2nd Bruce Willis movie, so maybe Look Who's Talking or The Fifth Element next. Oh my god, The Fifth Element.
That's a
multipass.
Let's find it. But I have multipass somewhere. I just don't know where it is now.
Yes, there's multipass.
Oh yeah, the thing with The Fifth Element, though, when trying to do it for just an audio only podcast, because it's so visual.
It
just has a very distinct look to it. I mean, some of the characters are just outrageous and just the way they sound as well.
Oh yeah,
I'm looking at you, Chris Tucker.
Yes. I mean, Chris Tucker. That's when you could. That was around the time where you couldn't really tell between Chris Tucker and Chris Rock unless you really, really looked hard.
Oh yeah.
In this case, I'm looking at you, Chris Tucker.
Yes.
But you almost need the look to go with, you know. So, but no, The Fifth Element, it is a good one. So it's it's Bruce Willis. He's not terrible, and thankfully he's got a very strong cast around him too.
Oh yeah.
which also helps. So
Mhm.
let's see. She says it's also your fourth Alan Rickman movie after Harry Potter, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Sense and Sensibility. Maybe this Galaxy Quest, Love Actually, Alice in Wonderland, or Sweeney Todd next. Probably Galaxy Quest would be my guess.
By
I
Grandpa Hammer's Galaxy Quest will be
yes,
next.
exactly.
Sorry, I couldn't
Oh, I know.
resist.
I know. It's like I just
Excuse me while I paraphrase, but
yeah. Yeah. It's like, I know Love Actually has its haters.
I love
And
Love Actually.
And the movie itself does have some faults.
Yeah.
As far as
it's still enjoyable.
However, it is a fun story overall. It's got some great characters in there and some great moments. Got some actors there that really chew up the scenery when they're on the screen. I'm looking at you, Bill Nye.
Yeah, and the rapping scene, the
rapping
scene.
Yes, Rowan Atkinson, genius.
Right.
However, I can't watch it because of Alan.
So,
could I talk about it without rewatching it? Absolutely, because I've seen it 5 bazillion times before he died. But even the stuff that I know inside out, I like to do a rewatch, or at least highlights. Some of my favorite scenes, and he's in a few of them. And I can't do it. I cannot watch him in this movie yet. It's been what? It's been 10 years. And I still can't. I just can't do it. So, I'll rip that Band-Aid eventually, but I just can't. I can't do it quite yet. And that's a me thing. It's when I fell in love, I fell in love with Alan Rickman, and I was like, oh, I gotta watch everything he's ever done and ever been. And this was early on, and of course, there's a bunch of cast in there that I love. Obviously Rowan Atkinson is in there, Emma Thompson's fabulous. So there's some really great actors in the movie, but I can't. Liam Neeson, hello. Eventually, just probably not this year for Christmas, especially not that it's been not on the 10-year. It's been 10 years since Alan died. So, anyway, you should also consider Rankin Bass specials like Rudolph, Frosty, and Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Oh, yes, we definitely need to talk old school Christmas with Rankin Bass.
Oh, yes, because some of those are just absolute gems and classic claymation before there was claymation.
Yes.
I'm actually kind of surprised we haven't yet.
Okay, there's a section about Stranger Things. Not huge spoilers, but little spoilers. So, before season 5, I rewatched everything and tracked which movies match each season's year. So, season 1, All the Right Moves. Season 2, Ghostbusters. Season 3, Back to the Future. Season 4 was kind of all 80s movies, and season 5, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Each season is inspired by different movies, with season 1 being E.T., The Goonies, Stand By Me, Close Encounters. Season 2, Aliens, Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Gremlins. Season 3, Terminator, Die Hard, Alien, Day of the Dead. Season 4, Carrie, Alien, Nightmare on Elm Street. Season 5, Alien, Nightmare on Elm Street, The Thing, Rocky 3, and maybe Jurassic. Each season also featured actors from classic 80s movies: Winona Ryder, Sean Astin, Carrie Ellis, Robert Englund, Linda Hamilton, and more. And best songs by season: Should I Stay or Should I Go for season 1, Every Breath You Take for season 2, Never Ending Story for season 3, Running Up That Hill for season 4, and I Think We're Alone Now, and Purple Rain. I love Will's coming out storyline, Robin's speech about accepting who you are, and how the show ended where it all began, with D&D. Some final thoughts. I'd love to see more movies turned into musicals. I'm still hoping for West Side Story, Newsies, and more Shakespeare adaptations. I'm taking a break from gold standard suggestions so you girls can just do your thing, letting each host pick what they love. Last thing, yes, I was right about the X-Men outfits in Avengers Doomsday. Yes, they're wearing their classic 97 cartoon outfits. And or at least Cyclopses. And fun fact, I've been working on this feedback since November.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Sorry, Shalane, that we made you wait so long.
Long.
I would say promise never to do again, but can't promise such things. But that's okay. That being said, we're not done with feedback because we got some feedback from DJ Nick.
Yay!
He says, "Greetings, sports ball fans. Absolutely loved your latest episode covering all things sports related. In answer to when your Inter fandom began, Rachel became a fan shortly before the Champions League final between Inter and Man City back in June 2023. And Holly joined the Black and Blue troop shortly before the new season following that. That season where we started like at the beginning, because we both came in towards the end, if not the end. So, but once we got to start with a full season at the very beginning, we got to see our boys win their 20th title and gain a second star in the logo. So, as of this email for both of you, this is your third full season, and here's to many more. It is wonderful to have fellow Inter fans across the pond who are just as passionate about the beautiful sport. Here's to a great rest of the season for me and Holly's Montreal Canadiens, aka the Habs, and hopefully Inter will end this current season with a few trophies. Vamos, DJ Nick."
Vamos. Yes. It was looking a little dicey yesterday, but yeah. The sports ball chat. Nick's dad was dead on. I was like, man, did Nick's dad kind of hear our discussion or have some kind of a mythical ball to see in the chat?
I mean, considering we'd had pretty much literally, we had literally had the exact same discussion about the Packers.
Yes.
So,
yeah. I'm just like, ooh, deja vu.
Yeah, that just kind of seems to be par for the course. It's just everybody seems to forget that you're in your particular most sports, there is a minimum expenditure required, whether it's laps ran or raced, or minutes played, or a certain score you need to get to. I'm thinking like volleyball or tennis, where you got to hit certain scores. There's a minimal expenditure that's required of your chosen sport. So you kind of need to participate until you hit that, and if that marks the end of said competition, then you can lay off the gas, metaphorically and sometimes literally.
Right. But if you hit that before end of said game, you don't do that.
Yes. Which is, I think, partially why IU football has done as well as it did. They absolutely clobbered Oregon, had a significant lead with granted Oregon got one final touchdown in there, but at the end of the day, it didn't make a difference because their just lead was so big. They knew they had this with 10 minutes left in the fourth. Pretty much going into the fourth quarter, they knew they pretty much had this, barring anything catastrophic. But did they bench their quarterback and let him rest? No.
You're in there.
He played the entire time because that's what you want to do. That's what you do when you're the best and want to be the best and be considered the best.
Yep.
That's how it works. So there.
But then what again? What do we know?
Yes. Which, depending on who you ask, some people may feel the same about this series finale of Stranger Things.
Yep.
Some people might be of the opinion that they just let their foot off the gas too early.
I mean, like what we said off, pre-show, this season finale is better than a few that we watched. I'm citing you Once Upon a Time season 8.
Oh my God.
Supernatural, not as bad issues, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Supernatural, not that I want to excuse anything, but they did kind of have a good reason to why Supernatural ended the way it did, and we did not get the finale that they wanted to give us.
That's right, exactly.
Once upon a time,
discussed.
saw a cash cow and decided to keep milking it.
Right. They could have ended.
And Bessie ran
7.
dry before they got to the end.
Oh yeah, Bessie did run dry. Yeah.
Yes.
We could have made season 8 a half, or we could have.
Sorry about the imagery, people, but it's true.
We could have left it in season 7.
That was a fantastic ending.
Yes. That was perfect.
That was an absolute fantastic ending. Like it literally ended with happily ever after.
Yes.
Which, when you're talking about a show with fairy tales, that's the way you want it to end.
Yes.
Right.
But no. Like, hold on a second. What if we just, we go back to the very first episode and just do that again?
And flip it.
But with Henry.
Yeah. No. It's just like somebody saw somebody's fanfic idea and decided, hey, perfect. Let's run with it.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Wrong. I've read some really good fanfic. I'm not bashing fanfic writers, but sounded like
in some cases there's some fanfic out that is better than the actual product. So
exactly. Yes.
I've seen some fanfic that makes the ending of Game of Thrones so much better.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about another series finale that was like, really?
Yeah. You had to go there.
Yes. Anyway, so final season 5, Stranger Things, the phenomenon that it still is, honestly, was and still is.
Yep.
Somewhat. It was affected by a number of things.
Oh, big time.
We as some people are like, oh my god, we waited so long for the final season. It's like, not all of it necessarily was like them just like getting writer's block or something. Like, we've had a couple of writers strikes. I think there was a strike a year or two after the pandemic, I think.
Yep.
And then we had the pandemic itself.
And
then we had another strike and an actor's strike.
Right. In solidarity with writers.
Exactly.
Which was, hey, solidarity? Yes.
Exactly.
I can get down with that.
Exactly. Right. So yeah, some of it is not necessarily the Duffer Brothers' fault or Netflix's fault. I mean, Netflix gave them carte blanche.
Yes.
Almost from day one, when they were shopping this around and nobody wanted it. I mean, they had the initial script or whatever. Originally it was going to be named Montauk, so nice little nod to what the show was going to be called there with Hopper.
Yep.
They're like, hey, let's move to Montauk. Which Montauk, the actual Montauk does have a history that's quite fascinating. You should go look it up. But yeah, and some of the plans that they had for this final season, they had to adjust because of the delays and our young cast growing up, literally.
Yeah.
So they went from whatever they put
and adopting a baby.
Right. So it's like we had 2 time jumps. Like, we jumped forward to get to the start of the season, and then we have another time jump.
Right.
They had to do something to justify why the kids look so much older.
Right. Part of my fanish Christmas gifts is I got the script books for the first 2 seasons, and then the 3rd and 4th came out a little while ago, and it was like I enjoyed what I had seen for the first 2, so I picked those up. So I'm slowly going through, and there are differences from I think these are the actual non-filming scripts. So some of the dialogue, because once I sat down with an episode, and some of the dialogue was a little different from on screen versus what was in the book. But it's been an interesting read. So I'm as soon as I can find out when season 5 is going to hit the pre-order, I'm going to pre-order it just to have that extra background. I would love to see more of a character Bible.
Oh yeah,
with this.
Right.
I mean, just oh boy.
We need some sort of like compendium.
Yes, like they've done
Ultra...
like they've done with X-Files and all that. Yeah, we need something like this for Stranger Things.
I've got one of those big ass like coffee table type books. I have one that's like the entire like history of the Beatles. I have one that's all of Harry Potter, at least as far as the feature films are concerned.
Yeah, it's just like gimme.
I've got one for the Marvel Cinematic Universe up to a point.
Yep.
Up to like Endgame.
It's just like I want to paraphrase Johnny Five, input. Need the input.
Well, and another thing too, and this is something that I discovered after watching the final season and going and watching stuff people's YouTube videos based on what I was seeing, and really just the YouTube algorithm going, oh, you're looking up Stranger Things stuff, here's some other Stranger Things stuff for you to watch. I'll have it linked in the show notes, but there's a video I watched, and they posted this before we got the final episode on New Year's. So they're making some speculations about how everything's gonna tie up, and they're wrong. But besides that, their explanation of, they break down the stage play.
Oh, cool.
Stranger Things: The First Shadow,
which from what I've heard plays a significant
significant season. And from what I can gather is because the series finale timing release got changed. I think, again, because this is not something that the Duffers have said outright, but based on fans who have been going down more rabbit holes than I have time for, is the timing for when the play was released comparatively to when we were originally supposed to get this final season got screwy in some form or fashion. There's bootlegs out there if you want to watch the actual play, or you could just watch somebody's explanation video. And depending on how new it is, like I said, this one was released right before we got the actual final episode. So it's fairly new. So they're able to make those those connections and connect those threads really easily and quickly. But yeah, there's stuff in the play that's very connected. Most of it has to do with Henry's backstory.
Okay.
More than anything. Because we got some last season, obviously, with finding out that he was the very first, one to be experimented on, the first test subject, that he killed his family, but his dad took the fall for it. But it's like, how did he get to that point? It's explained in the play. How it was thought it is the... See, you seem to have to watch the video. Somebody ended up going to, of course, it's the government, military, took a ship, air quotes, took a ship into the abyss / Dimension X. That's what that Dustin discovers during this season, that the Upside Down is not another dimension. It's itself. It is a wormhole connecting to another dimension, which is the abyss / Dimension X, which is where the Mind Flayer really lives. And some time ago, the government / military sent a ship into Dimension X, everybody died or something, except for one person came
Untapped
back
power
alive.
source that could give us more power?
Yeah.
Give me! Sign me up!
Kind of. It's like the one person who survived came back and like their DNA had been, or their blood had been changed to a blood type that does not exist. It was a completely new blood type. And of course the government is like, what can we do with this? And
let's experiment.
Exactly. And stuff happens. And Henry Creel ends up getting involved in this because this is leading into what some of the air quotes flashbacks, memories that Max goes through while she, when she's hiding, is, Henry in high school. They're in Hawkins because Henry is not a Hawkins native. He came from out west, Arizona, I think, or New Mexico, something like that. Very Area 51-ish, Area 15, whatever it's called. Area 51. I don't know. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Very desert governments, aliens, X-Files like. And while he's living out there that he ends up getting involved accidentally, we see where he comes across the guy with the suitcase, what feels very Pulp Fiction, like what's in the briefcase type thing. What they don't do a really good job of explaining who that guy is, because he's just like petrified. He's like, they sent you, and they shoots Henry in the hand. He is a Russian spy, because this is 1959, I think, late 50s, early 60s. When Henry's in high school. So when Henry was in the Boy Scouts, it would have been sooner than that. But it's post-World War II, early Cold War. That's what you really need to know, is we're dealing with the Cold War and the Russians. And who can get all the power first, blah, We've covered some of this thanks to Billy Joel. So, and also probably your high school history class. So we don't necessarily need to re-go over what the Cold War was, other than it was us against the Russians, and it lasted way longer than it should have, and some people died, but hey, we ended up getting on the moon first, so yay us. But yeah, the piece that Henry discovers in that briefcase is essentially a piece of the mind flayer, for lack of a better term. It's a piece that our government had managed to get their hands on, bring it back to, the right side up. And that Russian, supposed to be Russian, although he doesn't have an accent, but working for the Russians, steals it because Russia's like, oh, maybe we can use this for something. Power source. They don't know, because they don't really know what it is. They just know Americans have it. That means they want it. And when Henry touches it, that's when he makes the initial connection with the mind flayer. And that's why all these years later, feeble attempt at trying to save him fails, because he's like, I'm not infected by the mind flayer. I am the mind flayer. Like, we are now one being. It's like, I have fully given over to this, and there ain't no separating us, my friend. So, sorry, I'm going to destroy you now, or at least that's what he thought. Shows what he knows. But yeah, there's this whole stuff in the play about how the adults, Hopper and all of our adults, know each other. And they all went to high school with Henry Creel, which apparently, considering the things that happen in the play with death and stuff, because it is very, it's still Stranger Things. It's dark. It looks really cool from some of the video I've seen, some of the special effects on how they managed to pull that off on stage. Very impressive. That's probably why it's won some technical awards. You would think all these years later, when Joyce's kids get involved in this thing, and it turns out that there's a person involved and their name is Henry Creel, that might trigger some, like, wait, that name sounds familiar. Oh, I went to high school with him, Like, I understand you don't necessarily remember everybody you went to high school with. I sure as hell don't. But I also didn't go to high school with anybody who was infected by, like a malevolent being from an alternate dimension that can destroy things with its mind and cause mass chaos and confusion in my high school class either. You would think that would stick in your memory a little. Whatever. Again, one of those questions that I have. But yeah, the TLDR, the play is very important. That's the point I'm trying to make. I was at my chiropractor last week, actually, and he and I, we talk about TV and movies all the time. And he was like, so did you finish Stranger Things? I'm like, yep, I did. He's like, well, don't tell me. He's like, I just starting season 4. And I was like, well, because if I remember correctly, we don't really find out about Henry until season 4. So I couldn't necessarily name drop him, but I was like, okay, when you get to the end of season 4, stop, go to YouTube and find someone who's got a really good recap of the play, because that's going to become important going into season 5. So whether he's going to listen to my advice, I don't know. I'll find out next month when I go see him again. If he's finished at that point. But yeah. But yeah, the play is actually quite important, and why they didn't necessarily try to push, because it's like it played in the West End and now it's playing in New York on Broadway or slightly off Broadway, whatever. So it's not necessarily easily accessible to a lot of people, even if they did want to see it, to have that knowledge gap filled, and or people that just want to see and experience everything that has to do with this show that they really love. You would think, and the show seems to be doing fairly good. It's fairly successful on stage too, but it's like now after the fact, and all the people are realizing just how important the play is. Like, maybe before we got this, maybe we could have gotten like a pro shoot, maybe gotten like the Hamilton treatment that would allow people to see it, to get that information that might be important. I mean, they still could after the fact. I mean, if they really wanted to, they could keep this gravy train going for a while. But yeah. Looks like Holly stepped away for a second. Hopefully she's back any moment, but we will pause here for a moment to see if she is back soon. That, and so I can take a bite of my dinner before it gets ice cold. Pardon editing, Rachel, in the future when you go back to listen to this, so you're editing it, but just remember, you were hungry at this time.
Right.
That's probably enough ranting about the play. At this point. TLDR, it's important. Because it explains a lot, the history of the program that eventually develops into how we get Elle.
Right.
And all that fun stuff, but there's a whole lot leading up to that. So anyway, again, I'm gonna get off that particular soapbox. Just because you kind of need to watch, whether it's the YouTube video I have linked in the show notes or somebody else's. I'll leave that up to you. Anyway, going to the the episodes proper, setting the play aside, at least for now. We are 18 months in the future after the events at the end of last season. R.I.P. Eddie Munson. And Hawkins has kind of become, it's not completely like post-apocalyptic, but it's getting there. Yeah. Is it full on Fallout? Not yet. Given time, it could possibly get there. The gang is off kind of doing their, some of them are trying to live normal lives a little bit. The guys are in school, at least for a day. So, although Elle is not, and she's considered a missing person. Here's an anachronism for you. So the Duffers, in general, especially with Stranger Things, one of their things has been, if they make any references or nods or Easter eggs, they try their best to keep them to the time period. So like they try not to reference, like, we start in November of 1987 at the start of this final season. So they're not going to want to reference anything that is in the future of that. It needs to be from that time period or older. However, sometimes when you want to include a little bit of fan involvement, in this case, have a phone number that fans can call. Sometimes the powers that be mess with your well-intentioned plans, because the missing poster that is on the wall there at Hawkins High School with 11's face on it, the phone number on there is a working phone number. It's not one of those 555 deals where that all TV and movies use. So if you tried to dial it, nothing would happen. In this case, it is an actual working phone number. However, because this is set in Indiana, they wanted it to be an Indiana phone number. However, I don't know if it's just because the phone number that, I don't know how it works with as far as like getting phone numbers or what, for whatever reason, because Hawkins is, the fictional town of Hawkins sits an hour-ish northeast-ish of Indianapolis. Like if you're on your way to like Terre Haute or Fort Wayne area, that's where Hawkins is supposed to be.
Gotcha.
For the longest time, in most of my childhood, up until almost my adulthood, in the Indianapolis and surrounding areas, your phone number started with 317. After a while, they realized that they were running out of numbers that could start with 317. So we had to get a second area code for the Indianapolis and surrounding areas so that we could have enough phone numbers for all the peoples that need the phone numbers. So our second area code is 765. That is the number. That is the area code on Jane's missing child poster. It starts with 765. That area code went into effect in 1997. So not period appropriate. But my guess is they couldn't get a phone number that started with 317.
Yeah, probably because maybe they were taken out of existence, or all of them were being used and they couldn't.
That's my best guess.
Money.
That is my best guess, but that's just one of those things where it's all like, because like I saw some people mention, I didn't clock it at first, the phone number might actually be a working number until I saw people posting online that's like, oh yeah, that missing post, that missing child poster with, for Elle aka Jane, that's on the wall at Hawkins High School, the phone number works. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I took a better look at it, and I'm like, wait a minute, that starts with 765. That area code didn't exist in 1987 for Indianapolis and the surrounding area. I was like, because I remember when we got that new area code, when people are like, but it's one of those things that you'd have to be from like Indiana and be the right age to remember that, to recognize that that's not time period accurate, that phone number. It's an Indiana thing, I'm sure. Anyway, there's lots of great Easter eggs and the like in this entire season, though, because the Duffers, if they do know one thing, it's Easter eggs and references. Elle is off with Hopper, Joyce, because apparently Joyce just cannot be alone at this point.
Nope.
So she's either with Hopper or the kids, or the rest of the kids. And they're training Elle for the big showdown that they know is going to happen eventually, and then the boys are off doing their own legwork, and then they're doing these thing called crawls where they're going upside down, trying to find whatever it is they need to try and stop this whole thing, to stop Vecna and blah blah blah. There's a small subplot of Dustin getting beaten up that like, other than it makes him incredibly late for the crawl, never really resolves into anything, if I remember correctly. Like, he gets beat up in the butt and the bullies just get away with it.
That's kind of what it sounds like, because this is the same group of students that went after Eddie and the rest of the Hellfire Club.
Yeah,
from last year.
For playing games.
Yes.
It's the jocks versus the nerds. So, yeah.
And it was kind of cool to see, even though in Grief, Dustin kind of step out of his shell and become a little more confrontational in a way. It was nice to see that.
Part of it is he's just angry.
Yeah. And
he's not
would be too.
It's
he's
like,
still processing what happened to Eddie.
I mean, he was there.
Yeah, he was there.
He watched it go down.
Right.
But then almost immediately after that, the Hellmouth, or whatever you want to call it, opened up in Hawkins, and everything went to hell in a handbasket. So there really hasn't been time to deck. Yeah, there really hasn't been time to kind of process anything. But he's kind of like, it's not that he's like trying to become Eddie, but I think he saw things in Eddie that he liked and admired, and are trying to take on those traits. Like, he's still wearing the Hellfire shirts. He's got one of Eddie's rings that he wears on his own.
Yep.
On his own person. He sits at the same place in the cafeteria that Eddie did.
Yep.
So
we'll save the other thing for when we hit the finale. Yeah.
I love that though.
Me too.
Yeah. But yeah, like the whole thing with like once they do the crawl and Dustin, shows up post crawl, but still, it's like once everybody kind of gets together later that evening, like school and everything just kind of goes like right out the window.
Right. Well, and even some of the members, when they see the condition that Dustin was in, it was just like, okay, wait a minute. Intervention time here, bud.
Yeah. And I mean, we see Dustin finally come to terms, at least some of what he is feeling later with Steve.
Yeah, and that was the perfect person probably to have that talk to, just from because I didn't have a chance to do a whole rewatch, but I rewatched season 4, and that one episode, I think towards the end of the finale, with Steve and Eddie talking in reference to Dustin. It's like, it's his tone, and it was just like, okay, like my two dads. Steve was just like, okay, I need to take the babysitter / dad. We need to have a
Yeah.
we need to have a little heart to heart here. that tone you're going with, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like I can see it's kind of helping you, but I can see where it's also going to lead you into a world of trouble and a hurt. And I don't want that to happen.
Dustin latched on to Eddie because I think there are some personality similarities between Steve and Eddie.
Oh yeah.
But because Steve had graduated and wasn't there at the high school anymore, he and Dustin couldn't hang out
right
as easily. But as Eddie was a high schooler,
right,
it made it a little easier. Plus, somebody played D&D with.
Exactly. And two, we know it's just Dustin and his mom. We have clue zero about Dustin's dad. If memory serves, if he's in the picture, what he's doing, etc.
I don't believe so.
Yeah.
So
because it was never brought up in the first season script book, from what I read. So, like I said,
I think we're just kind of meant to assume that Mr. Henderson is out of the picture.
Yes.
So, because they're at the end when when the Mrs. Henderson's is taking the graduation pictures, it's just her and she's like, being the bubbling crying mom. So
yes.
But yeah, again, it's one of those things that it's like, I don't know if maybe this was, again, if and when the Duffers tell us, we kind of will never know how much had to change.
Right.
How much got, because up until this final season, one of the things that's so fantastic about Stranger Things and some of our other favorite properties is we've got this like crazy, seemingly impossible stuff that could never happen in our world as we know it happening. In this case, you've got people with telekinetic powers and traveling wormholes and creatures from other dimensions and all of this wild sci-fi X-Files-ish type stuff going on, but they've made the characters very human and gives us characters that we can see some of ourselves in and gives them obviously the Upside Down and eventually Vecna and the Mind Flayer and everything. It's all building up to this big final showdown, but they also have some real world problems. They're all preteens when we start. So you got all the stuff that comes with going into puberty and the hormones and realizing, I like that person or I don't like that person, and how do I talk to them? I feel so awkward. As you grow up and you're, as you evolve as a person, or your friendships going to stay the same? Are you necessarily going to be friends with the same people in once you reach high school that you were friends with in junior high?
Right. Or are you going to still be friends with those people from your high school years when you head off to college? And college, once you graduate, are you still going to be friends with them after you graduate? It's just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, so there's a lot of, Joyce trying to handle being a single mother and the all this fun stuff that comes with living in small town Midwest USA.
Where everybody knows everything.
Everybody knows everything. Knows everybody's business.
Yep.
and being the new kid in town, and all this very human relatable stuff. And unfortunately, because of reasons that just hand waving reasons, I think we lost some of that
Mm-hmm.
in this final season. I mean, they still tried to give us some of the more quote unquote real life stuff, with the Nancy kind of being stuck in this quasi love triangle that's not really a love triangle,
Right.
and being unproposed to.
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah, that was good. Because everybody's like, wait a minute. Okay, was that a real proposal, or was that actually I'm releasing you from said proposal that we did earlier?
Yeah.
No harm, no
Kind
foul.
of, actually, neither.
Yeah.
Actually.
We're in limbo.
Yeah. And then we're not.
Okay.
So it's like, okay. And
now I want to ask you something. I mean, we're gonna
yes.
Okay. Well, or should we wait till the finale? Because I've seen clips and people are wondering if said ring that got tossed, that was used for the proposal, if that is not the same ring that Hopper proposed to
Joyce.
I
with. Thought that
it looked a little familiar.
It looks similar.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's the same one.
That's what
There's
or it's the
just
same,
enough.
It's the same style. Maybe the
It's
diamond
very 80s.
is a little. Yeah,
they're very 80s.
Even
I will give it that,
late 70s, because I almost did a double take because it almost looked like my mom's my mom's diamond engagement ring that she had with her wedding band set. It almost looked like that.
Yeah, because the one that Nancy refuses by accepting the refusal.
Yeah.
Figure that out.
Yeah. A lot of double negatives going on there. It's like, okay, does that make it a positive or what here? Or is that still a negative?
She's accepting the non-proposal. So is that an acceptance or is that a not? I'm
right.
Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, clarification later on.
Yeah, whatever.
Read it into it. Believe what you will, or what you want to.
Yeah. But yeah, that ring is it is very 80s. It's very simple. Not that the one that Hopper gives Joyce isn't relatively, but if you look at it, the one that Hopper gives Joyce, it has a little bit of design, I think, up near where the stone sits.
Right, yeah.
That the one that Nancy refused didn't. So,
okay. All right.
So
okay, that's
my guess is they probably shopped at the same place.
Probably, yeah.
And
Hopper, I know a place.
Yeah, just Hopper being Hopper being the more grown up and with slightly more money was probably able to afford just a slightly fancier ring.
And they got the date at Enzo's.
Yes. It only took 5 million years.
Now we don't know about Robin and Vicky. I'm hoping, because I think I saw them in the back in the restaurant when the proposal went down, unless my eyes are playing tricks on me. Because that's another question mark in there. Are they together? Well, and then Dustin and Susie. What happened there?
I mean, that was a camp romance.
That probably.
And then it became a long distance romance.
Yeah,
so I'm not really that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily that heartbroken that didn't go anywhere. Just like we didn't get Argyle back, but it's like he's all the way on the West Coast.
Yep.
And we're back in Indiana. So it's like, he was part of the adventures. Actually, it turns out that nobody actually bothered to contact the actor and see if he wanted to come back or was available to come back. Yeah.
Because that would have been cool to have Argyle help come right into the rescue.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe we could have stopped Vecna ages ago with just pineapple on pizza. We'll never know.
I was just gonna say that, Rachel. I was just gonna say that.
The world may never know.
No.
Right up with her with how many licks it takes to get the center of a Tootsie Pop.
Yeah. Yeah. Who knew we could take down Vecna with pineapple? Who knew he had an allergy to that?
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, there were some characters that did not come back that, could or could not have maybe played a part in how things went down. We didn't see Paul Reiser come back either. And his character's still alive, right? Sometimes it's hard to keep track of who's still alive and who's not.
Right.
But we got the core group for the most part, so that's really all that matters. Although bringing Elle's sister, 8,
Yep.
back and making her look like she's like maybe trying to like sow dissent or like turn Elle away from her loyalty to her found friends and family,
right,
to her I mean, I can't say she was trying to get her to like turn to her actual family because they're still not
right
technically family. They share blood because that's what ties, because of again, going back to the play, the one guy, his blood changed to a blood type that we never had before. And
that's what we're getting at by blood.
And something happened and Henry was able to get the same thing happen. Like the first time
like a transfusion of some sort and it sticked.
Right. So his blood type changed too. And then they realized that they could use his blood. And that's where the transfusions occur, which I think, I don't remember if it gets mentioned in the play or if it was in season 4, or maybe it's both.
It could be both.
The program that gave us Elle, was taking, and we see that they're trying to continue the same program,
right,
with more pregnant ladies, as they're taking that blood and doing transfusions in hopes that they can get more children with the telekinetic abilities,
i.e. quasi super soldiers probably for later on down the line,
exactly,
or the military.
Yes, exactly.
And I was a little leery at first when H
Cold
came back
War.
They
wanted to build their own little army of magical psychic killing children soldiers that the Russians would never see coming.
Right. And I was a little nervous at first when 8 came back, because I'm just like, okay, is she doppelganger, or is she
it's just
the
like
influence of somebody?
Yeah, it's like the way she came in and was acting all like, shady and shit. It's like,
right, yeah. It's like, that's not the doing here. Yeah, I mean, this isn't the 8 that we were originally introduced to, so, instantly.
I mean, she wasn't Susie Sunshine when we met her.
Well,
either.
No, to begin with, but just
she was very bitter.
Yeah, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yes,
something seemed a little off.
Yeah, because she'd been found, being held essentially under lock and key by the military. Once again, taking her blood and trying to continue the same program, but because they don't have Henry, they're using her blood instead. Because again, they have the same blood type. That the Mind Flayer positive or something. I don't know. MF positive. That's where that's their blood type.
Yeah.
Mind Flayer positive.
Yes.
But it's like, I and again, what you almost have to ask yourself, what purpose did she serve? Also depends on how you interpret the ending. that's a thing too, is like, was she a completely pointless character? Or at least did she serve some purpose there at the end? It leaves you wondering, kind of like them bringing in Linda Hamilton. Like, what purpose did, at least 8 did, she was there to talk to Elle as an equal because they'd been through the same thing.
Right.
At the very least, she understands the horror and everything that they went through as parts of this program. So, because, everyone else, whether they're completely supportive of her or not, can never understand what she went through. So they at least you've got that, and they can, bond on that level. So at least she serves some purpose. Linda Hamilton, on the other hand, why? Okay. I'm gonna use PG-13 so I can use this word once. I know I probably could have saved it and quoted Joyce, Joyce's final words to Henry, but whatever. She totally deserved to be able to say that. But why the fuck do you hire and cast someone like Linda Hamilton?
Yep. To underuse her.
80s icon, and not just like, I mean, at least with Winona, she was, her 80s thing was kind of, obviously Beetlejuice was a little different, and
right.
Heather's too, but in general, she wasn't an action star.
No.
She was just this 80s, non-traditional, good-looking teen,
right.
could play the oddball type character. Linda Hamilton, Terminator franchise, 80s action legend.
Yes.
Doing cast her
action
as a military uppity up. And all she does is walk around looking pissed off and or getting in people's faces.
Right.
You never give her a big ass gun.
Right.
Or other cool blowy uppy thing for her to do.
Right. Her character's probably ticked about that because she probably did some of that stuff and the military has her on a tight leash, so she can't do that crap anymore. Maybe that's why she's so pissed off.
I mean, everybody else is running around with guns and shit, but she's not.
Right. Yep.
It's Linda Hamilton.
Or they totally
Sarah
missed the
freaking Connor. You do not hire her.
Yeah.
And have her do diddly squat.
Maybe Paul Reiser wasn't available, so they couldn't put him in her spot. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe she was originally
a scientist, though. She's not she's not uniform. He's not uniform military.
Yeah, true. But you know what I'm getting. You know what I'm getting at. They kind of had a.
I mean,
who
they
knows? Who
could
knows?
prep back Carrie Elwes. And, be like, oh, yeah, he was smarmy mayor and he managed to smarmy his way up through the government to get into the military.
That would have worked.
I don't know.
That would have worked. I mean, she would have been better. Linda Hamilton would have been better off being some sort of relation to 11 and then coming in guns blazing and helping out Joyce and company.
Something.
That's just me. But
it's just like every time she appeared on screen, I'm like, okay.
Okay, you again. What obstacle are you going to toss in our way that we are going to have to get around? Jareth, you are not.
It's like, oh God! It's every time she came on screen, I get my hopes up, and then then they would get dashed, and I'm like, ugh, this is so underused, so underused. I'm like, it's at least with some of the others, like, Shalane brought up, they play to their strengths. You bring in Sean Astin, you get, and, he's this lovable Bob, justice for Bob, but, he's helping, like, with Will, with the maps and everything. It's very Goonies. It's very Lord of the Rings. It's very appropriate for somebody like Sean Astin. You get Carrie Elwes in, and he's very charming. playing the mayor, and he ends up being a sleazeball, but still, he's very good at being charming, disarming with his good looks, and he makes a very good politician.
Mhm.
And Cary Elwes, he can play some smarmy characters.
Oh yeah. I mean,
spoilers for the Saw franchise.
I mean, he did in Twister.
Yes.
He did in Days of Thunder, so he can do it.
Right. Yeah. And there is a nice little callback.
He played a smarmy guy in Leverage when he did a guest appearance. So,
and they did make a nice callback to his character, thanks to crap. Now I'm blanking on the character's name. The kid who's a jackass, and then he isn't a jackass. Derek. There we go. Derek. Delightful Derek. Yes. Because when they're sneaking the kids out, and the one kid snitches, that's Cary Elwes's daughter or granddaughter.
Oh, cool.
She's related to Cary Elwes's character. So they share a last name, so it's like, of course she's a snitch. Look who she has as a relative.
Yeah.
That tracks. So Derek. He was a delight.
Yes, he was.
Even when he was a dick.
Yep.
He ended up being a good kid. So
yep.
And casting
I just loved it.
Relatively unknown.
Yeah. And I just loved it when they get him to the Delightful. But I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the other guy anymore. I was like, but we need you to. Okay.
Yeah.
If I have
we need
to.
we need douchebag Derek. Just for a little bit.
Then you can go back to being delightful. Yes.
Exactly.
We like you both ways now.
Yes.
You're realizing there's a time and a place.
Yes. Very much so. Good old Derek. What a kid. He definitely stole some scenes there.
Oh yes. And he got his own catchphrase.
Yeah.
And we still don't know what happened to Derek's parents, so I could care less.
Yeah, they weren't. You can see the apple didn't fall far from the tree.
No. I think Derek's better off. I think Joyce and the rest of the crew adopt him.
Although
better
Erica with the pie.
Yep.
Keeping it accurate to Indiana. Sugar cream pie. That's our state pie. Have I ever had a sugar cream pie? No.
Yeah.
I really have no desire to eat a sugar cream pie. But I do know it is the Indiana state pie, and that is what Erica brought to Derek and his family. So
yes. I told you to eat the pie.
You really should just not eat pie given to you by people that you do not have a very positive relationship with.
Right.
Exhibit A here. Exhibit 2. Watch The Help.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I know.
Brittany's like, I know what you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Dean Winchester even wouldn't fall for it. He'd be picking that up, or at least Dean would be like, "You're laying it on kind of thick. Tone it down. There's a way to deliver the pie without being that pushy."
Oh my. Thankfully not turned me off pie as a whole. Derek, where were we? Derek.
Yeah.
The other kids, the kids that are closer to, the ages, some of them are the ages to where our kids were when this whole thing started. You got Holly, you've got Derek. Obviously Max is more grown up. Apparently she can age even while being trapped in Henry's mind. but yeah, and a whole bunch of the other little kids, and then we get the wonderful tie-ins to A Wrinkle in Time, which was one of those books that it's like I was gonna get around to reading eventually, but lo and behold, Stranger Things brings that in. It's like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna read this book now. So I did. In between the first 4 episodes and Christmas, I read the book. Thankfully, it's not very long.
No.
Even in audio form, it's not that long. There's an audio version out there read by the author.
Yeah.
So that's the version I listen to. So you know what? Yeah, she does voices and all sorts of stuff. So it's pretty awesome because since she wrote it, it's being read and performed the way that she wanted
the author intent. Yeah, yes, and correct character pronunciations too.
That too. So, although again, after reading the book and then going into Christmas and then the final episode, New Year's, they dropped opportunities where they could have taken that, tie-in and done it even more, because it's like, the whole thing with like the dark thing and the it and them nicknaming, I guess, being in Henry's mind or whatever, calling it Kamataz, the Camazotz. Sorry, Camazotz. I've only read it once. Like they were doing pretty good about, and Henry when he's calling himself Mr. Whatsit. So there's like some great in there, but then when like Holly, she gets shown the truth, and then she's trying to convince the other kids, and they're all being like, no, he's not the bad guy. He's, you're the monster or whatever. And it's like, and Holly is just like frustrated, stamping her foot, essentially being like, why don't you guys listen to me? I'm like, why couldn't Holly bring up the argument that like, no, that's what he wants you to think. You guys are, how you write for a kid that age, but essentially our protagonist in A Wrinkle in Time, her younger brother gets temporarily brainwashed by the black thing. And it's like, why couldn't Holly have been like, can't you see? You guys are being brainwashed, just like the character in the book. Because they all they all know the reference, because they're all making the same references. So they've all read the book, so they know that happens.
Right.
They know what Camazotz is. They know what the black thing is. They know it. So it's like, like Holly, could have been like, this is Camazotz and you guys are being brainwashed. But they totally missed that opportunity to make that final connection, because that is what ultimately how we get our happily ever after in A Wrinkle in Time in the book. Spoil a book that's over 50 years old. Written in the 60s. But I'll leave a little bit unspoiled just for anybody that hasn't bothered to read it, because it is good. It's fun. I'm interested to see how what happens further in the series, because I know there's lots more where that came from. But yeah, there was just another one of those things where it's like you had the start of a good idea and it just kind of
or time or whatever just wreaked havoc, and they had to pivot. The pivot wasn't that good.
Yeah, I mean, there's still probably, and they still could have kept the conflict going with the kids that, think that they're fine and they're not in trouble, versus Holly and Derek, who are aware that everything is not fine. But, maybe Holly making that connection to A Wrinkle in Time, maybe woken up, maybe a couple of them. And then the rest of them could have still been, brainwashed. But, just keep going with those connections to this IP that you've decided to make a significant plot device to this, and flesh out the entire idea.
Mm-hmm.
Dag nabbits. Obviously, the issues that I have with this are not the same ones that other people do. So I'm positive. One very positive thing I could say about this. Obviously, Netflix did not penny pinch
Nope.
on this. They've poured a lot of money into the series from the very beginning, and they knew, this being the end, that this was not the time to cut corners when it came to budget.
Nope.
And it shows, because it looks really good. But somebody give an award to their sound team,
Mm-hmm.
because this sounds amazing. The sound design on this, especially that battle that takes place with the Demogorgons and the military, and then we finally see that Will has powers. We finally get that big reveal. But listening to that with, like, with either some really good headphones or whatever, if you got good speakers or something, oh my god, it sounds so good. So kudos to their sound team. The mixers, the editors, the Foley artists, all of it, because it sounds so good. I did go to college for video and audio, so I kind of know a thing or two. We could sit here probably and just like tear this apart, like chapter by chapter by chapter,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think we need to necessarily.
No.
I think we should just get to the ending here and
Yep.
discuss how this whole thing just kind of wraps up.
Mm-hmm.
Not in a happy ending
No.
for everybody.
No.
That's the thing. I've seen some people that are like, oh, but we didn't get our our happy ending.
But
so,
I think in a way it's okay that we didn't.
Yeah, I mean, some people look back at like 80s IP and they're like, and it's like somebody somewhere said something about, oh, the 80s people expect, happy end, and like, not actually. A lot of the 80s did not have happy end, and I don't consider this a happy ending. Like tied up in a bow. Yeah, some people are happier than others.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Joyce and Hopper, I mean, yay. Finally, they get that dinner at Enzo's, and now they're engaged and they're going to get married, and they're going to, Joyce's kids are all grown up, so she doesn't have to worry about being a mom anymore. So she and Hopper can up and move to Montauk.
Right. Yep.
Which, I mean, sure, upstate New York's a lot different than Indiana. Or something. It's gonna be quite a difference. Or something like that. I don't know. It sounds like they're moving to Canada, honestly, is what it, you say Montauk, but whatever. So it's like, yeah, they get a happy ending. Great. Why is Hopper still sheriff in Hawkins? It's small town USA. A lot of people died over the last couple of seasons. Odds are they didn't have a lot of options to begin with, and then give it to the guy who has shown he's halfway competent to do the job in the first place.
Right. And as scary shit goes down, he doesn't lose his cool, and he knows how to deal with it.
Exactly.
I think that's another reason why they didn't run him out of town on a rail.
That too.
Well, they probably could have.
Exactly. Max and Lucas, they're still together, which is great. Holly and Nancy's mom survives, which is good.
Karen, yep,
Karen survives.
And good on her for what she did. That one reference that I made about we weren't entranced by the laundry. I mean, her taking out those were the demi dogs or the demigorgons that she took out?
I think those are demi dogs.
Okay, because just
Yeah.
the way that they were looking, at that the
There may have been some full-on Demogorgons in there.
Yeah.
So.
But just the way they were looking at that dryer and the
Yeah.
and the fire extinguisher or the whatever it was in there or the oxygen tank, it was just like, that's my toy. I want that.
Yeah.
Just like a regular dog when you throw something of theirs in the wash that needs to get washed, same reaction.
Yeah.
It's like, nice.
Yeah. And kudos to her for, at the kids' graduation, wearing an outfit with her scars full on display.
Yep.
Considering she started off so shallow as a person.
Yes. I mean, she was wearing those like a badge of honor, and it was
exactly.
Whoever says anything, man, are they going to get the worst dressing down ever?
Yeah. Does that mean she doesn't still occasionally chase some Xanax with a glass of wine? Probably. But,
I'm not going to judge after what she's
maybe just not as often.
Gone through. Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
at the same
Joyce
time,
getting
hopefully her and Holly are going to therapy together.
Yeah. And Dad survived. We were not sure.
For better or for worse. He did too.
Yeah. And Joyce got her Molly Weasley moment with Vecna.
Yes. Yes.
You messed with the
wrong family.
And oh yeah, yes you did.
Finally, because even in this season, when I was talking to Nick, I would just be like, Joyce, after all of the I'm not a mom of humans.
Right.
So I can logically understand that when you are responsible for another human's life, especially one that you help bring into this world, that there's going to be a certain amount of protectiveness that is going to just kind of inherently be there.
Right.
You want to protect them from harm and all the bad stuff in the world. However, after all this time, Joyce, I think your kids and their friends have proven that they can handle themselves.
Right. Yep.
And that if you really want to help, find some way to help
slightly.
Instead of sitting there, either twiddling your thumbs, or the few times that she jumps in thinking she's going to help and all they do is mess with her because she's not playing to her strengths. So yes, when she finally does get her Molly Weasley moment, I'm like, finally, because the entire time I'm like, Joyce, just pick up something heavy and just start whacking away.
Wailing away, yeah. And I think too, she's yep. And and when she means family, she's not necessarily, I mean, she's talking about her own sons, but I think she is also including.
Oh, she means everybody.
She means everybody as the family. To quote Bobby Singer, Supernatural, family don't end in blood, and here is another case in point. Yeah, we do have some family that is blood, but then not blood and has become a chosen family for better and for worse.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, finally. So it's like, yes, please, Mary Hopper, move far away from everything and figure out who the hell you are, Joyce.
Right.
Make your own life, please, and thank you. Take up a hobby or something. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't need to worry about selling encyclopedias over the telephone anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, okay. Before we get to the big elephant in the room, we should mention, because Shalane did mention it in her feedback, Will's coming out, which everybody knew was coming.
Right.
At some point. It was just it wasn't a matter of when, it was just a matter of how.
Right.
It was gonna happen. So yeah, to nobody's surprise, Will has finally canonically come out as I mean, in the 80s he would just been calling himself gay, I guess. Nowadays we have way more labels, which,
Right.
because it is a spectrum.
Mhm.
But he comes out as a member of the Alphabet Mafia. If it was now, he is now a member of the Alphabet Mafia. Um, I love that his way of working through it is, one, to talk with Robin. Like,
Mhm.
Robin is the perfect person for him to talk
Yep.
to. One,
Mhm.
because she is, she is gay herself.
Mhm.
She's a lesbian, and presumably she doesn't seem like she's ever showed interest in anyone, at least male presenting. So it appears that she is, lesbian. Although she herself, is, she's not ashamed about it, but she's also like, she's well aware that, that it's living in the Midwest in the 80s,
Yeah.
not the easiest,
Mhm.
not the
Not the
easiest
easiest time
place
period. Yeah.
to date, let alone try to find a serious relationship.
Mhm.
So yeah, obviously Will is going to be hesitant about that, but I love the fact that, he would just ask her questions and she would just honestly answer them. And she was never like, "Why are you asking, Will? Are you asking for
Right.
yourself or asking for somebody else?" She just answers them.
Right.
Either because she inherently knows he's asking because he is questioning himself, or she just knows that judgment is not a needed thing. And it
Right.
may be a little both. It's
Mhm.
very smart and mature on both of them, the way that was handled, with him
Yes.
asking the questions and her answering them, and it just being that. So then when Will finally does decide to come out to everybody, you can watch Robin's face the entire time. She's just like smiling and nodding her head like, "Yeah, buddy," It's
Mhm.
like,
Yep.
she's like, "I knew this was coming and
Mhm.
I'm totally here and fully supportive of it."
Yep.
And
Yes,
the
you may be
fabulous thing
rambling,
was,
but I love you for it and everything you are saying.
exactly. And, yes, this is television.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, I can't speak from personal experience, but tangentially, Will's coming out with first of all, such a decently numbered size group all at once.
Mhm.
Very intimidating. And I mean, he did
Yeah.
ramble quite a
Yeah.
bit, but he eventually got there.
Right.
And the fact that everybody's reaction was positive
Right.
is unfortunately unrealistic.
Mhm.
It's a very positive thing for them
Mhm.
to portray somebody coming out and getting positive reactions
Mhm.
from their family and friends. But for it to be like 100% positive across the board, that is the exception, not the rule, unfortunately.
Right.
It's like, I like, I appreciate why the Duffers did it this way, because I'm sure that there's not a lot of coming out stories in media that have a immediate positive reaction
Mhm.
to, whoever it is that the person is coming out to. Of course, the alternative would to be, at least one person in the group have a negative reaction, but then that would kind of derail
What they were trying to do.
what they were trying to do as far as the bigger story was concerned, because he did this right before they go in to start going into like the final plan, like
Where
the
some of us
plan
might not
that's
make it back.
right. I mean, this is the plan that's like, this is our final attempt. This is the final whatever. This is going for all the marbles, and we're either going to be
Mhm.
successful or we're not.
This
So
is
it's like
the
we
go
didn't have
big or go home moment.
right. So it's like we didn't have time to derail to go down that and like, will be disappointed because somebody is either has a negative reaction or maybe not necessarily negative, but just not like an wholeheartedly positive reaction.
Right.
So it was again, I think we lost some breathing room in this because of whatever the circumstances are that gave us the final product. The delays, the kids aging, and looking older faster than maybe they expected them to, whatever. All the circumstances that led us to getting this as the final product. Unfortunately, things like Will's coming out and, some of the other things that have been brought up, the more human side of things got lost because we needed to get to this final showdown with Elle and Vecna, essentially, because that's what it's all been leading up to. It's Luke Skywalker meeting up with Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
Is what it is. That's what all this has been leading up to. But I think we lost some of the more human relationships and human life experiences outside of the supernatural X-Files type stuff. Granted, we do get that. I mean, once we get past that, then it's really nothing else but the human side of it.
Mm-hmm.
But by then, it's all just, here's where we are now post defeat of, Vecna, the Mind Flayer, stopping the abyss from crashing into Hawkins and destroying the entire planet, and Vecna turning, all these little kids into his personal combustion engine for his crazy psychopathic abilities, and destroy everything. So, again, I think it's I think it's a timing thing personally, but again, I'm kind of spitballing. Yes, we do get the defeat of Vecna, which is great. And Elle is, she doesn't deliver the fatal blow necessarily, but she is the one that almost kind of literally brings him to his knees, brings him to a point where there's no way for him to fight back, which I think is appropriate, to be honest with you. It also allows to put a little D&D Easter eggs in there by ripping his arm off, so you get the hand of Vecna, and then Joyce chopping his head off, so you get the head of Vecna, which isn't actually a thing. It's just it's a meme in D&D. Right. But the hand of Vecna is a thing.
The hand and eye, because in D&D lore, he is missing an eye.
Yes. Yeah. So.
But like you say, Vecna's kind of the Rassilon of D&D.
Yes. Yeah. So, and actually the name Vecna in itself, I mean, it does come from D&D, but the reason it exists in D&D in the first place is because Vecna is an anagram, Jack Vance's last name, who is a science fiction and fantasy author, and he wrote this series called The Dying Earth, and the original creators of D&D were inspired by that. So there's a magic system in D&D called the Vancian magic system, which is a nod to him. But then Vecna itself is also a tribute to Jack Vance as well. So, and the idea of the prismatic spray is also right out of that as well. That was cool. But then it's a matter of, he's gone, but there's still a gate open into the Upside Down, and we can't, and the military's still out there doing their thing. And that's what 8 was trying to convince Elle, is like, we need to sacrifice ourselves so the bloodline stops. Otherwise, they'll just come after us and try to do more transfusions and all that stuff, which is a valid concern. I get
Right.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, how she got the idea that, the military industrial complex might do awful, evil things like illegal and inhumane experiments for what the quote unquote betterment of, warfare is beyond me. All you got to do is look what happened to Hopper's first kid.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Among other things.
Yep.
Again, go look at Montauk.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Stranger Things, not as fiction as you think.
Yep.
Just a higher special effects budget. So it's a valid concern. Is that ultimately what needs to be done? Hard to say.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing is, after the gate is closed, anything related to the military just like poof disappears.
Right.
Like, is there any sort of fallout for what they did? Taking over.
Maybe, but I don't
part of the
believe we're
state of
gonna see it.
Indiana and turning it into its own like military compound. Kidnapping children and claiming it's for their own good, air quotes.
Mhm. Right. Yeah.
For their protection. Again, very big air quotes. Take your pick.
Right.
It's like it's like it's like it closed. The gate closed, and 18 months later, and it's like there's no sign that other than the memorial, there's like no
Right.
sign that, and we have no idea what happened to Linda Hamilton or her cronies. For
Right.
all we know, they went back to just doing other military related stuff, which honestly, that tracks,
Right.
all things considering. It's still annoying. It's
Uh-huh.
annoying because it's too true.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a valid annoyance that some people have had that I could understand. It's like, but I mean, can you really punish Linda Hamilton for anything? Because she didn't do anything. The elephant in the room, L, the L we see before, right when the gate closes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that actually her?
Right.
Did she sacrifice herself? Or is that an illusion that her sister, one last illusion? Because each of the kids has like kind of their own specialty.
Right.
Kind of like in the Dresden Files, Harry's really good with, fire. Molly, really good with veils and illusions.
Right.
So in this case, Elle's sister, kind of like Molly.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That might be what we're talking about next episode. There may be some more magic involved next episode. Or did she pretend to be dead? I mean, she was going to die anyway because of that wound.
Right.
But did she act like she was dead because Hopper was right there? And so he would just think she's dead and they just left. But then she would be able to, pop back up well enough and get herself into a position to be able to pull off that last illusion.
Mm-hmm.
While Elle properly escapes.
Right.
Because there's
I can buy
clues
that.
for both.
Right.
That's a thing.
Until we get something either in written format or something down the line that is a definitive answer, I could see it going either way. And I'd be okay with either, but would I like to have a definitive answer? Yeah. Are we going to get it? Who knows?
Yeah, I know. And the thing is at least, I mean, the Duffers aren't saying anything.
No. And I mean, we're
other
getting
people
also
in the
Return of the Jedi certain point of view.
Right, yeah. Well, and some of the other cast that has done, talk shows and stuff since then, some of them think she's dead. As far as like the actors and actresses are concerned,
Right.
I guess speaking for their characters, maybe that they think she's dead. Again, I think there could be arguments, the sounds, the high pitched noise that they use to essentially block her from being able to use her powers. Those were active.
Right.
But at the same time, there was a lot of noise going on.
Right. Who's to say it didn't
So
get overridden?
would it, right? Because it's a little different when she was like hiding behind the truck and she was just out there in the middle of it and could be bombarded with that.
Right.
But I mean, from the way it looked to me, if she's inside the gate, she's actually kind of behind the sirens. So would that necessarily make them as effective?
True. Right.
So she could be using her powers and not be dampened. But at the same time, it's like there's other things that are like, yeah. Like, I mean, there are some people that are like getting really like in the weeds with this, like not just, down to things that, specific wording and also tone of the way things were said by certain characters, the way that like Elle wasn't covered in her sister's blood. It's like, shouldn't she have had a bunch of her sister's blood on her? It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Like, and there's some things that like, as far as like stuff that supposedly was seen in the script or in behind the scenes stuff, like at the kids' graduation, their caps and gowns are supposed to be green instead of orange. The way the kids are all sitting in their chairs at graduation, the fact that in some scenes you can't necessarily see Holly's mom's scars as well as you can at the graduation when all the kids, I think when they come down, the younger kids come down to start playing D&D, that like her scars aren't as visible, and it's like, okay, whatever. There's a whole bunch. It's a whole thing. Like some people are absolutely convinced that pretty much the final episode is just one big illusion. That and everything is taking place inside Vecna's mind, that Max never got out, that they're all trapped in there, and we're suddenly going to get one more episode, and and now we're finally going to defeat Vecna and all that stuff. There's supposed to be an alternate ending that Mike and Elle do run off together like Mike wanted to. I don't know, honestly. I mean, I could see arguments for both. I mean, I could see Elle still wanting to live, but also wanting to protect her family and friends. And, faking her death and taking off into Iceland or wherever the hell she looks like she is. Far, far away where they're likely never to find her. And she could just live a very simple life, free of the chaos and all the demands and everything. And she can, be bittersweet, happy that the people she cares about are alive and safe. That seems like that's a very Elle thing to me. Do I think the entire thing was an illusion? I don't think so. I think they defeated Vecna. I think they took down the Mind Flayer.
Yep.
Which it was pretty awesome that the kids got to have like their like Dune moment. Little Dune, a little Starship Troopers there. Yeah.
A little nod to Ripley.
Yeah, little alien there. So yeah, exactly. So do I think the entire thing was an illusion? No. Do I think maybe
yes.
Elle's death was an illusion? Probably.
Right. And to save the friends and in order to make things right. Yeah, I could see her doing that illusion and with Kali to make sure things went according to plan. I can see it. Yeah. Now, if we do have some resolution and everybody finds out, is there going to be a little fallout? Maybe.
I mean, like Nick said, like Nick has been saying, which really he's quoting his mother, you're not a jar of Nutella, you can't please everybody.
Right,
which,
exactly. Yep.
I mean, I like Nutella, but I wouldn't
Me
say
too.
it was. I wouldn't. Does it please me? Not necessarily.
I mean, do I have a few quibbles with it? Yeah, but
Yeah.
as a whole, did I enjoy it? Yes.
Yeah.
Does it rank up there with some of the finales? Maybe if we're talking out of 10, maybe this would be, 5,
I mean,
5,
comparatively to
6.
some shows that have ended in the
Yeah.
last decade or so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this is above Once Upon a Time.
Yep. Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, I would say actually, I think I am happier with this ending than actually I am with the finale of Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah. I would.
I would put this
Yeah.
above I would put this above Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah.
To be honest
Yeah.
with you, like
Mhm.
I'm not mad at it.
No.
Do I have questions?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. How did Max graduate after being in a coma for 18 months? I don't know.
I mean,
It's
I
called
mean,
summer school and
yes.
tutoring.
Yes.
They
Yes.
had, I
Which
mean,
were pretty much mandatory back then and not just a suggestion.
it's small town America.
Mhm.
The graduating class looked like it was a decent size, but
Right.
that town had been through hell in the last 5-ish years.
I mean, they probably gave some of the kids a bit of a pass. Okay, yeah,
Right.
mm-hmm.
I'm sure that they really just wanted. This is No Kid Left Behind before No Kid Left Behind was a thing.
Exactly. Yes. Yes, a lot of crap went down in Hawkins. Yeah, we get you. We will. The requirements they're not going to be as strict.
Yes.
We will be a little more
I am pretty
lenient.
sure that they gave her every opportunity to graduate on time with the rest of her friends. I mean, how did any of them graduate, considering we only saw them in school for one whole day this final season?
Right. I mean, because
and
sometimes
then everything else went down.
I mean, sometimes those dungeon crawls, I'm sure some of them had to take place during the day, and not under the cover of night.
Yeah, so it's like, how did any of these guys graduate on time? Honestly, I think Max had her learning curve was probably the least steep.
Mm-hmm.
So she just, I mean, she's gonna have trauma. They're all gonna have trauma. But it's like, she was asleep for 18 months.
Yeah.
listening to Running Kate Bush not stop. I'm surprised that tape still works. There should have been a joke in there at some point where Lucas was all like, where she'd be like, I can't believe you kept playing it all this time. She's like, and he'd be like, yeah, but I had to buy 6 copies.
Right, yeah. I was starting to see daylight.
Yeah. It was starting to play a little funny.
Yeah.
They had to replace it.
Yeah, the magnetizing stuff was starting to come off of the tape. We needed to replace. Not to mention I had to replace X number of Walkmans, and I need to buy stock in a battery company.
And honestly, I think the graduation is a very good argument for why it was reality. To be honest with you, because I can't see Vecna coming up with an illusion that includes Dustin essentially fulfilling Eddie's dream for his own senior year of high school. So
right, because Vecna and Eddie did not meet face to face.
No.
And Eddie, and Dustin and Vecna never met face to face. So there's that. Yeah.
That being said, I love that Dustin totally. Yeah. It's a fantastic callback because I mean, it's exactly what Eddie had said in the previous season, because he was going into his senior year. He's like, this is my year. He's like, I'm gonna go out, it's like I'm gonna get to that graduation, and it's like he never got to do it, so Dustin did it for him. So which I think is pretty awesome. So
and everybody's reaction to Dustin doing that
Yeah, I mean, everybody
Was there some
loved it
shock?
except for the principal.
Principal,
Which
but everybody
honestly,
was
that
like,
was the
that
entire
was-
point. So
that was so perfect. I mean, some of the parents were just like, yes, because I bet you they wanted to say the same exact things to their
Mhm.
to their administrative people that they had to deal with going through the ranks.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm. Exactly.
yeah, kid, we get it. Yes,
Yeah. This
we
is
know
why
our
they
future
were.
is safe.
This is why they were all able to graduate on time.
Right,
It's because
yes.
the principal wanted them out of his hair.
Exactly. Yes.
What hair he
yes.
has left.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, and as Shalane said, it ends right where it began with D&D.
Yep. Yeah, and that was cool.
Although there's something to be said about play D&D when you're able to be face to face versus how we've done it, which is over the computer.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I don't think any of ours have ever really gotten that
That heated.
that heated.
Yeah.
We don't have miniatures and stuff either, so that's probably a
Yeah.
good thing, actually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the only thing got a little heated was when we were kind of talking ideas. It's like, wait a minute, we're talking in front of the DM here.
Yes.
We shouldn't be doing that.
I mean, I think the DM sometimes is supposed to be like the guards outside Kensington Palace, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
They're there, they're observant, but they don't interfere unless they absolutely have to.
You have to, right? Yeah.
So, but yeah.
I mean, it was fun, and it was, apropos that the main crew's ending game was a Curse of Strahd.
Yeah.
Number 2 big baddie.
Yeah. I mean,
under Vecna.
they defeated Vecna. I mean, that's top of the food chain. So where
yeah.
anything else is going to be small potatoes.
Exactly.
And when their first big adventure right out of the gate, they did Vecna. It's just like us. Our very first adventure, we ended up in the what's it called? The maze of the. What's it called? The Maze of Insanity or Tomb of Horrors.
Yeah.
It's like it's supposed to be one of the hardest made dungeons ever.
Yeah. And us deciding to do Stonecraft or whatever.
Created by Gary Gygax himself, and it's like.
Yeah. I mean, it was, and that was, that was completely spitballing. I mean, we just, okay, it sounds crazy. Let's go for it. And it worked. Though I will be gun shy if I ever go with my D&D character, ever see something shiny down a well.
Well, first of all, you need to be the right size to go down the well.
True. Yes. That was you. That was your character.
You had to pick on the halfling, didn't
you? No. No. Basically, it was kind of like I was your Legolas and you were Gimli.
Yeah, that's true. There was a little bit of a toss me, don't tell the elf type thing going on there. So
yeah, yeah. Because I was trying to drag you out of it, but no, you decided, ooh, shiny money, go. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't say I didn't warn you.
Oh, yeah. I do gotta say, I do like the fact that there's a younger generation of D&D players.
Yep.
That did make me happy.
Yep.
I was like, oh look, I'm playing all the D&Ds.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I was tearing up with the music. I mean, the Prince stuff. And then Heroes at the end, it was just like, oh
my God, yes.
That was what I mean. I teared up slightly with the Prince stuff, but I really started to tear up when the David Bowie Heroes. I'm just like
the Prince. The Prince seemed a little. It seemed a little like the vibe maybe wasn't quite, but then at the same time, I'm like, Murray was the one who built this, so.
Right. It could have been a Murray choice. And
I mean, Murray was
do
the one.
Say no to Murray.
I mean, we've seen Murray's taste in music. I mean, who's the one that gave
the Coltrane?
The Coltrane. So
Yeah.
just saying, Murray's his taste in music is, I mean, not that there's anything wrong with Prince, but just the vibe didn't seem to quite fit. Now, Dustin, on the other hand, is going out at the graduation with a little
trooper.
A little trooper there, little Iron Maiden, I am totally there for. So I do love that. So it's like, yeah, we already did the Metallica thing. It's like, what else are you gonna do?
Well, I mean, because
I'm glad they did Iron Maiden and not Megadeth.
Right. I mean, that's tying back to season 4 again, where they're trying to get music together for Max, and then Robin's rattling off all these, and then we have Eddie say, "This is music," and what does he have at the side of his face but a Iron Maiden album or cassette? Yeah, so it tied in perfectly.
Exactly. So yeah, there's been some fun callbacks, some fun references. Yes, the Jurassic Park reference is another anachronism. I mean, you can't really have kids huddling together next to a table or countertop of some sort and not being chased by monsters and not immediately think of that scene from Jurassic Park. So it's
in the kitchen with the velociraptors.
Exactly. It's like it kind of asks for it, whether it's time, whether it's time period appropriate or not.
Wibbly wobbly timey wimey.
Yeah,
we got the reference.
That you can kind of forgive. So just like, I don't think everybody necessarily clocked the area code for the Lost Child poster. It's like, again, that's kind of an Indiana thing. Although otherwise people are going to be like, they're not going to know. They're just going to know it's a working number, and they're going to want to call it, which apparently it's I think it's a recording of maybe Hopper. I think
so.
Or something like that. So yeah, I think we're just gonna have to wait and see, if the Duffers try to. We are getting a making of.
Right, that's supposed to drop, I think, sometime this week, if memory serves.
I think so. Yeah, so we are going to get a behind the scenes, and maybe in there they'll, as they're showing the making of, they'll be explaining, like, we're doing this because,
or we
fill
were
in the blank here.
Or we were planning on doing this, but because of X, Y, and Z, we decided to do this instead.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah. So maybe we'll get some answers there. So, but like, honestly, I haven't seen this much like
discourse.
Get this like this much like digging into the weeds, examining, lifting every stone, checking every nook and cranny, I think, since Taylor Swift's last album dropped. Just looking for Easter eggs and clues.
With all the different cover art,
and then trying to tie it back to the stuff that came previously. It's it's Swiftie all over again. So y'all are clowning. The Venn diagram of clue lookers for your fandom between Swifties and Stranger Things there's a lot of overlap there, kiddos. Not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying I've not seen this much clowning, except maybe during the Eras tour. Also because everybody was looking for clues that she was going to announce Reputation Taylor's version. People are still waiting. We've gotten two albums, two new albums since then. But have we gotten debut and or Rep Taylor's version yet? Have they been recorded? Yes.
It's just a matter of not if, but when.
When. Yes.
Patience, dear Padawans. Patience.
Yes. I mean, she does like to have a lot of irons in the fire at once, but at the moment she is planning a wedding. So
yes.
Yeah. Let the girl
we do. Yes, we do have to let her do that.
Anyway, getting sidetracked. Clues. That's where it all comes down to. Lots and lots of clues that might not actually be clues.
Or
That's the thing.
they could have been red herrings, and we tilted at them enough. It's like, is that a clue? Is that
Yes.
not a clue?
Yeah.
We didn't have the nice little lovely blue little paw print with us to grab our handy dandy notebooks and like, oh, we have to jot this down.
I understand that reference.
Sorry, I had to.
Oh yeah, no. I totally was having a Blues Clues discussion with one of my office worker students last week. So, yeah, I showed her my picture of me and Steve. We had a fun.
Cool.
And she's a D&D fan too. So when I told her Steve likes playing D&D, I made her day. So see, it all comes back to clues and D&D. That's really the answer to the universe and everything. 42, but make that fit into D&D and you're golden.
Yep. Let's see. Two nat 20s and a +2 bonus. There we go.
Yes.
How's that?
Yeah. Exactly. Like I'm rolling with advantage and I got 2 nat 20s and I get a +2. So it's like Monopoly. You get doubles, a little bonus. Anyway. Okay. I think we've beaten our soapboxes to a pulp at this point.
Yep, the Slurpee machine has run dry.
Yeah, I think so. Good luck out there if you want to jump into this discourse. If you have opinions, feelings. I know some people have some very strong feelings. I get it.
Oh yeah.
As someone
and I can see where they're coming from.
Yes, and I understand getting sometimes irrationally emotionally invested in some of these things. I mean, I did find myself getting a little emotional as Mike was telling everyone kind of their stories of where they would go in the future.
Oh yeah.
I took it a little emotional there. But I'm not as emotionally invested in this as I am in some other things. It's been this summer it'll been 7 years since Endgame, and I'm still not over them killing Tony Stark. So,
7 would be right. Yeah.
But have your discourse. Feel free to argue, as long as it's not mean. You can have discussions and you can argue, you can have a debate.
Oh yeah.
As long as it's not mean. Don't if somebody comes at you with, things that they saw or thought they heard or whatever, that if you want to, take that and look at it and examine it inside out, upside down, that is fine. Don't go after the person. Right. That is a completely different thing. And you don't go after the people. You can go after their evidence, but you need to do it at in a logical way.
Respectful
way, and just understand that at this point all we can take is what we were given and what we have been told by the source themselves. Because like I said, even some of the cast is only speculating at this point because they don't know one way or the other. The Duffers have not told them, or they're doing a very good job of pretending that the Duffers have not told them. So the only people that know for sure are the Duffer brothers. And until they tell us outright, it's all speculation at this point. It's all interpretation. And I think that's kind of the fun of it. I mean, if you look at this entire series as a whole, it is one big D&D. I mean, it really is one big D&D adventure. And how it turns out in the end could have been the difference of somebody matching or beating a roll versus not. It could have been, it'd been the difference between a nat 20 and a critical hit, or rolling a nat 1 and just totally, totally effing up.
Yeah.
That's the fun of the adventure, is that you don't necessarily, there's a lot of stuff that is left up to chance.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what we got on this particular go round. And, there's talks of possible spin-offs of some form or fashion.
We are getting the 85 animated series, I believe, sometime this year, if memory serves.
So that may also fill in some blanks. For now, hopefully you can still enjoy it for what it is that we got. And, you find yourself getting upset, I would say go to a mall and find an arcade, but that's not likely to happen, at least not in the sense that I'm thinking of. You go to a mall now, and the closest thing you find to an arcade is like a claw, like the occasional claw machine, or like a gash pawn, like the Japanese like type vending type things where you get the stuff in like the little plastic balls. Yeah, or you might find an actual arcade, but it's got like, not your traditional games. But anyway, I don't know. Go to the mall and window shop. I don't know. I got nothing. Like I said, I'm not as emotionally invested in this as some people. So it's like I think you and I are kind of on the same page, Holly, where it's like, did I hate it? No. Is it my favorite? No. Is it better than some others? Absolutely. Am I going to lose sleep over it? Do I have questions? Yes. Am I going to get answers? Probably not, but I'm not going to lose any sleep over it.
Right.
And that's all there is to it. So, anyway, any other thoughts? I'm rambling at this point just because I'm not coherent. I am very tired.
I think we're good. I think we covered what needed to be covered.
Well, if any of our listeners want to send in their feedback about Stranger Things, whether it's the entire series or just the season or the finale or whatever, what are your theories? Is what we saw, is that what actually happened? Was it an illusion? Who knows? But we don't mind hearing your opinion, because everybody's entitled to theirs. So you can send us feedback, fiveishfangirls@gmail.com, or you can go to our website, which is thefiveishfangirls.com, where you can connect with all of our various podcast related social media accounts. I've only said that 5 bazillion times. And our individual ones as well, along with ways you can financially support us, and the book club as well, we mentioned earlier. So, all right. Well, with that, I desperately need some sleep, and you guys should probably think about sleeping too. Meaning my co-hosts, our listeners. I have no idea what time you're listening to this. Maybe it is your bedtime and you should be going to bed. In that case, go to bed. If it's not, hopefully you had a good night's rest before you listen to this. I don't know. This is why I am a podcaster where I can be edited and it's not live. This is why I would never be Rockin' Robin at all. BT dubs, again, Indiana specific Easter egg reference, whatever you want to call it. When Robin is at the radio station, there's a sticker for a well-known radio show that technically the show still exists, but one of the hosts retired several years ago.
Oh, cool.
But they're a bit of a staple. And they were on the air when this was set, so it makes sense that there would be a reference to a fellow Indiana radio. At the very least, the station still exists. Even if the show in question the show doesn't exist in quite the same way anymore. So
very cool.
Yeah. But again, it's one of those Indiana things. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. And yeah, you're not going to lose any sleep over it because you don't know. But anyway, with that, good Lord, I need sleep. Maybe I need to go and lay down and sleep in a hospital for 18 months. No, bad idea. Anyway, with that, this is where I need the sound effects that Robin has. We're going to sign off for this week.
This is Brittany Bangus saying goodnight.
This is Holly from Wisconsin saying good evening.
And this is Rachel in Indiana, home of Q95 and sugar cream pies. Insert wacky sound effect here. Thank you, our Fiveish fam, for joining us on this week's geeky journey. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Stay connected with us on our website, thefiveishfangirls.com, and follow us on most social media with @FiveishFangirls. Plus, check out our nonprofit, Fangirls Give Back, to see how we're making a positive impact in our community. Until next time, stay nerdy and let the squee continue.